Yankee Stadium, it's time to talk baseball. I'm Frank Messer, and we're talking to you just before the start of the final home game of the 1971 season. For the New York Yankees, they play the Baltimore Orioles here at Yankee Stadium tonight. The Yankees have 6 more games on the road, 3 in Detroit and 3 in Washington to wind up the campaign. Pitching the home finale, just as he did the home opener way back in April, it'll be Stan Bonson, who has won 14 and lost 10. Stan has won his last 4 starts, pitching 4 complete games, 2 shutouts, and has allowed just 2 runs over his last 36 innings pitched. He'll be opposed by right-hander Jim Palmer, who has a record of 18 and 9 for the Baltimore Orioles. This will be the final home game for Jake Gibbs, who has announced his retirement as the Yankee catcher, and Gibbs will be in the starting lineup. Last night, we started a 2-part series on the New York Yankee farm system. Because, as I said then, I sort of feel that the farm department, the farm system, is the backbone of any Major League ball club. And tonight, we continue our discussion with George Pfister, who is business manager for player development, and Clyde Klutz, who is field director for player development. We established last night that the Yankees have 6 farm clubs, a rookie E classification club, 3 A clubs, a AA club, and a AAA club. Now, there used to be other classifications from AAA all the way down through A, B, C, and D. I asked George Pfister why they changed that classification so that now the lowest club is a Class A or a rookie club.
Well, Frank, they used to have B, C's, and D clubs, and there were different classifications and different rules. You could play so many limited servicemen. These were players that had a year or 2, and then as you progressed into the higher leagues, you could play so many veterans and so on and so forth. We don't have a lot of veteran ball players in our organization, and there are very few leagues today that do play veteran ball players other than the AA or AAA leagues. So basically, it was to conform all the leagues into 3 classifications, actually 4 if you count the rookie leagues. A, AA, and AAA. It was just to simplify matters all along the line.
All right, now, when you sign a young player in the draft, does he automatically go to a rookie league, or how do you decide where you place him?
It would depend partly on his ability. And like if he were a college boy, such as a Pazik, we just recently signed out of Holy Cross University, it would depend upon how far advanced he was. Then we would pick the type of league that we probably felt that he could play in, whether it would be a slow Class A league or whether or not he would have to go to a rookie if he were a high school boy instead of being a college student.
All right, now we have the rookie league, which is managed by Jerry Walker, I believe, former pitcher.
That's correct. Jerry is our manager at Johnson City, and George Case was our manager at our just a little bit above our rookie club, which we call Oneonta, which is a Class A league because they play a few more games, and more of the organizations send a few more college boys into that league. This makes it a little faster league than the Appalachian League, and we feel that the high school boys are all starting off and all together. They've all come out of school, and there are very few college boys in the Appalachian League. This gives them a better opportunity to get themselves acclimated.
I see. So then the basic idea then of the farm system is to have your kids, your young ball players, playing against kids you hope of just about equal talent then.
That is correct, Frank. Basically to give them an understanding of what professional baseball is all about, and actually this is just a training program to get them acclimated into professional baseball and get their feet on the ground. Get them used to everyday playing, where in high school they might have played on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. Now they're playing every day. They're getting on and off buses. They're getting acclimated. And, Frank, you'd be surprised what just 2 months will mean to this boy next year in spring training.
Clyde Klutz, how do you decide how do you determine the distribution, say, of your personnel, your managers? We brought out with George that Jerry Walker manages the rookie club, George Case, the next hireman. Now, Bobby Cox is at Fort Lauderdale, Gene Hassel at Kinston, Mickey Vernon was at Manchester, Lauren Babe at Syracuse, the AAA club. Just how do you determine who's going to manage where?
Well, actually, it's determined not only from the ability of a man to manage, but his value to an organization. You don't always have your best organizational man in AAA or AA, or in our particular case, I feel like we have one of the best organizational men in baseball in Gene Hassel at Kinston. And it isn't that we don't think Gene could manage in higher classification, but we feel like that his value to our organization is with the kids, the younger kids, because he's a teacher, he's a very energetic and enthusiastic guy, and he works so hard with these kids. He'll spend all day with them, and this is where the job has to be done in the lower classification. Now, in the case of our higher classifications, we want a man who can do a job, who can handle the older ball players, and his rapport with them is important. And so we select them. We try to change them around once in a while to give them a little higher classification or a little different classification. But for the most part, it's done according to the job that we feel like a man can do in our organization.
I was going to ask then, it wouldn't necessarily be true then if you had a young player who looked like he was going to be just a good long ball home run hitter. You wouldn't necessarily send him then to Mickey Vernon.
Well, not necessarily. We, of course, you would like to have the type of manager who could take a guy like that and develop him. And there are cases where maybe a manager is a catcher and we got a catcher we want to progress a little bit, that we would send that catcher to that particular manager. For instance, this year, when after the June draft and we started signing our players, we sent all of our pitchers that we signed that we felt like had a problem in delivery and so forth, we sent them to Jerry Walker because Jerry was a pitcher. We tried to send those that we felt like might make pretty good base runners to George Case. It didn't entirely work out that way, although George club led the New York Penn League in stolen bases and so forth, and because George is a teacher in a different category. But pitching help, we wanted Jerry to handle those who needed the pitching help.
All right, let's get, I'm sure that it's an expensive proposition. How much money does it cost to develop a kid? Well, let's start this way. You sign a kid in the draft. How soon do you expect him to be ready for the major leagues? Is there any average length of time?
Well, I think it would vary, Frank, because I can remember, I say a few years ago, it's been quite a few years ago when I broke into baseball, that the average minor league time for every player who reached the big leagues was 7 years. That has dropped considerably because of the way baseball has gone, actually, that a ball player gets to the major leagues quicker today than ever before. I would say, and I have advised kids to this respect, kids that I've signed, that give yourself 4 good years. At the end of 4 years, we know whether you're a prospect or not, and you should know at the end of that time. Some progress faster than that. Others are slower than that. So there is no set timetable on this particular thing. We hope that all of our kids can move fast, but we don't want to push them too much.
And that has to be a pretty tough decision, I guess, sometimes, too.
Yes, it is, and it's awfully hard to convince a ball player that he should stay down another year. I personally feel that any ball player is something like a 3-year-old child. You could throw a 3-year-old child in 10 foot of water. Child may not drown, fight his way out of the water, but he'd be scared of water the rest of his life. So this is a thing we try to take into consideration, try to convince our players that it's more important to stay a little lower and have a good year than to move too fast and have a bad year and lose your confidence.
So a lot of psychology involved in baseball, too. Is there any dollar and cents figures, George Pfister, you can put on the development of a ball player from the time he is signed as a rookie till he reaches the major leagues?
Well, Frank, when you take into consideration the time spent by your scouting staff to scout a boy, the amount of money you put into him and getting him to the club, the amount of bonus you put into him, it all goes way up into the thousands and thousands of dollars. You've got salary to figure in and time spent, instructional periods and all that. Our farm system costs us well over $1 million. And I would basically say that averaging it all out, I would say probably if we get 3 or 4 ball players to the major leagues, it would run us around $50,000, $60,000 a ball player.
See, there's a lot of money involved. I didn't realize that.
Well, it's a shocking figure, really, when you think about it.
$1 million a year to operate the farm system.
Yes, Frank, well over that, yes.
Let's take one kid in particular and bring him through the farm system. I'm thinking right now of Ronnie Bloomberg. Now, he came up with the Yankees this year. The Yankees bought his contract from their Syracuse farm club. And everybody just about every Yankee fan, I'm sure, knows the name Ron Blomberg, and those that don't know it certainly will, and every baseball fan in the country, I think, will eventually. Now, here's a kid that was the #1 choice in the draft. Now, how is it, who determined where he went when he was first signed? Clyde, I guess you weren't with the Yankees then, so maybe I better stick with George on this one.
He was scouted. He was cross-checked. Frank, what I mean by cross-checking is we had other people, supervisory people, who we call cross-checkers, go in and check this boy out while he played in high school. And we determined after we signed him that we thought the best place for him was a rookie league because he was a high school boy, and we sent him to Johnson City.
All right, he started out in Johnson City. Incidentally, Ron Blomberg was the first baseball selection in the June 1967 free agent draft. The Yankees had the first choice then. He's from Atlanta, Georgia. All right, he went to Johnson City. I'm going to look at the figures now. He hit .297 there in 1967, 10 home runs in 66 ball games. So that got him, a promotion next year to a higher league?
Yes, he went to Kinston the next year. And Frankie struggled a little bit, but I think it was a year well spent. And I think at that time, the reason I say this is because he saw a lot of left-handed pitching in the Carolina League that year, and he struggled it through, and he didn't get his dauber down, as we say in the business, and he struggled it out, and I think it made quite an impression on him, and made him a better ball player.
All right, then he advanced to Manchester. Then in 1970 to Syracuse. He started this year at Syracuse, and now he's with the Yankees. So the boy, is that a typical rise of a young ball player?
This, let's say, is a little faster rise of a typical ball player. Some ball players don't improve this fast. Some ball players have to be sent back for maybe another year in a rookie league for a lot of reasons. They don't learn fast, or they don't come on a little faster than the other boys, or they need a little longer training period or a little adjustment longer in adjusting to the game of baseball.
I'm not going to ask for any individuals because it wouldn't be fair, and we don't have the figures here, but let me just ask one general question of both you gentlemen, Clyde Klutz and George Pfister. Compared to other organizations, how does the Yankee farm system stack up?
Well, we feel we stack up real well. Of course, in the past couple of years, the Dodger organization has come along real fast. They've been able to progress their players a little bit, and of course they have a young ball club. I think, speaking of young ball clubs, I think we have done real well. And I think we have quite a few young boys in our organization today who are coming along well. Unfortunately, we never know where these players are going to level off. And we see a boy that we move from one classification to the other. He does a pretty good job. We move him a little higher. He does a pretty good job. And then the first thing you know, he's at a classification that he can't do the job in. We use an expression, well, we'll have to find a league he can't win in or a league he can't play in. And sometimes this happens. But in the case of Blomberg, you mentioned him, that every classification that we put him in, he did just a little better than he did the year before. And I think the true test of a prospect or a guy that's going to make the real good major league ball player is a guy who continually shows improvement. And I've seen improvement with Blomberg even since he has joined the major league club.
All right, George Pfister, finally, are the players of tomorrow, the Yankees of tomorrow, available? Are they around?
Yes, I think we have a real good bunch of boys. We are short in some positions, and I think basically all organizations in organized baseball today have the same problem that we do. Frank, we all know that if you analyze everyone's farm system, you always will be short in certain positions. This is something we have to put up with, but this is what we go out and we scout for. We try to replace or try to fill in with the positions we basically need. I think we have a good bunch of boys, and I think eventually you're going to hear a lot from some of them. And I think it's just a matter of maybe a year or two before we will get some of our better prospects up here in the Yankee Stadium.
So, the future is good for the New York Yankees, and we've been discussing their farm system the last two nights with Clyde Klutz, Field Director for Player Development, and George Pfister, Business Manager for Player Development. We've been talking baseball from Yankee Stadium. I'm Frank Messer, and now we invite you to stay tuned for the start of tonight's game between the Yankees and the Orioles in just 1 minute.
coming on. Thanks for tuning in to New York Yankees baseball. Brought to you by Schaefer Beer as another major event in your Schaefer circle of sports. Schaefer, the one beer to have when you're having more than one. And by First National City, the only bank your family ever needs. And by the Coca-Cola Bottling Company of New York Incorporated, it's the real thing Coke. And by Good Humor, it's what the world needs more of. And by the Small Car Experts, your nearby New York, New Jersey, and Fairfield County Datsun dealer. Datsun, the official car of the New York Yankees. Good evening, everybody. I'm Bill White, along with Frank Messer and Phil Rizzuto from Yankee Stadium as the Yankees take on the Baltimore Orioles for the last time this year, and the last game here at the stadium, and this is the 1971 season. And we'll be ready for the start of tonight's game in just a moment.
Say, if I were you, I'd head out to my refrigerator right now for a tall, cold glass of Schaefer. The one beer to have when you're having more than one. How about it? Well, tonight here at Yankee Stadium, not only the final home game of the 1971 season, but the final game in Yankee Stadium for catcher Jake Gibbs. Jake has announced his retirement following the 1971 season to return to his native state of Mississippi and his alma mater, the University of Mississippi, to become head baseball coach and also head football recruiter. Jake Gibbs signed by the Yankees to a bonus contract in 1961, came up for the first time in 1962, got in 2 ball games, then came up for good in 1965. And Jake Gibbs will be retiring tonight, and we have a special ceremony down on the field to honor Jake Gibbs. Now we go to the playing field, and Phil Rizzuto.
This will be the final home game for Jake Gibbs. Jake is retiring after the season to become baseball coach and chief football scout at his alma mater, the University of Mississippi. And before calling Jake Gibbs out here, I'd like to have all of Jake's teammates come out and form a semicircle right back here.
We might say right here that the Yankee teammates of Jake Gibbs were led onto the field by their player representative, relief pitcher Jack Hager.
And right now, for the guest of honor, catcher Jake Gibbs. Now, before we call on Jake, we have a couple of messages that will be read, one by our Yankee president, Michael Burke, from Mayor Lindsay.
Jake, here's a letter from John Lindsay, Mayor of New York City, and it reads, Dear Jake, all New Yorkers, join me in expressing our appreciation to you for your professionalism, sportsmanship, and class you have brought to New York baseball and the New York Yankees. During your 10 years with the Yankee family, you have earned the respect and admiration of everyone who has worked and played with you. We are sorry that you are leaving, but we are very happy for you and your fine family that you will be returning to the University of Mississippi as head baseball coach and chief football recruiter. Our loss is their gain. We wish you well. Sincerely, John V. Lindsay, Mayor. Jake? Good luck to you.
All right, thank you very much, Mike. And now to read a telegram from the president of the American League, Joe Cronin, the executive vice president, general manager of the Yankees, Lee McPhail.
Jake, this wire from Joe Cronin. May I take this opportunity to extend personal thanks for your contributions to our great game over the past 8 years. We're extremely sorry to lose an athlete as outstanding as Jake Gibbs. The entire American League joins me in wishing you well after you leave the playing field. Joe Cronin.
Thank you, Lee. And now on behalf of all your teammates, and there'll be 2 presentations by your longtime battery mate, Mel Stottlemyre.
Jake, on behalf of all your Yankee teammates and people connected with the Yankees, this is really an honor for me to be able to present to you this cigar humidor filled with cigars, -1. They've been personally tested by Ralph Houck, and they are of the utmost quality. We also have an attaché case to keep track of all your records for your football scouting and your baseball team. You've meant a lot to all of us who've been with you all these years, and believe me, I'll always have a special spot in my heart whenever I'm on the mound for Jake Gibbs. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mel. And now, Jake, from the Yankee club itself, here's the man who signed you and has served as your manager for most of your Yankee years, Ralph Houck.
Jake, on behalf of the Yankee management, we want to wish you all the luck in the world at Mississippi. Their gain is certainly our loss. I want to thank you for what you've done for me over the years and how much you've meant to me as a manager. And on behalf of the Yankees, we want to give you this portrait of you hitting your last home run in Yankee Stadium, and hope that your thoughts will come back with us once in a while. Okay.
Well, thank you, Ralph. And right now, let's hear from Jake Gibbs.
Thank you very much, Phil. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, baseball fans, I would like to say that I'm very grateful and deeply honored. I'd like to thank those who were responsible for making this night possible. I consider myself a very lucky man for having the opportunity of being in the major leagues, being a part of this fine Yankee organization, and especially being a member of this team and playing with a great bunch of guys. This is the best sports town in the world, and I'd like to say that these men behind me, I believe next year will bring the pennant back to you. Thank you very much.
Well, we want to thank all you Yankee fans so very much, and Jake, want to thank you. Best of luck always. I hope we see you back here for Old Timers game next year. Thank you.
Ceremonies before tonight's ball game between the Yankees and the Orioles, honoring Jake Gibbs playing his last game at Yankee Stadium. Right now, this is the New York Yankee Baseball Network. We pause for station identification.
Take a seventh-inning stretch now. Have a snack of Finland Swiss cheese, the Fantastic Swiss. WMCA New York, Dialogue Radio 57, your New York Yankee station.
Let's take a look at tonight's ball game right now. Stan Bonson will pitch for the New York Yankees. Stan has won his last 4 starts, pitching 4 complete games, 2 shutouts. He's allowed just 2 runs over his last 36 innings pitched. He beat Washington 11-1 on September 2nd. He shut out Boston 3-0 on September 6th. Boston again on September 13th by a score of 4-0 as he pitched a 3-hitter, his low-hit game of the year. And he beat Cleveland 7-1 in his last start on September 17th. Bonson had a string of 6 consecutive complete games wins earlier this season from May 29th through June 22nd. He's had 1 start against the Orioles this season, April 18th, and was the losing pitcher as he allowed 7 runs in less than 2 innings. Stan Bonson has never beaten the Baltimore Orioles. He has lost 8 games to them in his career. He has never won from Baltimore. And so he's hoping tonight will change that around. By the same token, Jim Palmer, pitching tonight for Baltimore, has a record of 10-2 against the Yankees for his career. On the season, Palmer has won 18 and lost 9. He's had 2 starts against the Yankees this season. June 19th, he went to no decision as he gave up 4 runs in 8 innings in a game the Yankees won 6-4. On August 7th, Palmer was the winning pitcher as he pitched a 4-hitter. The final score then was 3-1. Now, the Yankees have dropped 2 straight to the Orioles after winning 4 games in a row and 12 out of 15. The Yankees are now 2 games behind the third-place Red Sox with 7 games left to play. 1 tonight, 3 at Detroit, and 3 at Washington. The Red Sox also have 7 games left. Here are the starting lineups now for tonight's ball game. For the Baltimore Orioles, Don Buford will lead off and play left field. He's hitting .289. Paul Blair will be in center field, batting .261. Boog Powell at first base, hitting .249. Powell hit his 19th home run of the year last night here at Yankee Stadium. Frank Robinson will bat cleanup and play right field. He's hitting .282 with 27 home runs and 96 RBIs. Brooks Robinson will bat 5th at third base, hitting .270 with 19 home runs and 88 runs batted in. Elrod Hendricks does the catching for Baltimore. He's hitting .242. Dave Johnson at second base, batting .285. Bobby Grich at shortstop, hitting .385. And Jim Palmer, the pitcher. And Palmer can also swing a bat. He's had 19 base hits and 8 runs batted in, hitting .204. For the New York Yankees, Horace Clark will be at second base leading off. He's batting .246. Jake Gibbs will catch, hitting .217. Felipe Alou in center field, batting .284. Roy White in left field, also hitting .284. White has 17 home runs, 80 runs batted in. Ronnie Bloomberg returns to the lineup tonight. He'll bat 5th and play right field. Bloomberg is hitting .316. John Ellis at first base, batting .235. Ron Hansen will be in at third base, hitting .231. Gene Michael at shortstop, batting .226. And the pitcher, Stan Bonson. Stan has 11 base hits and has helped himself on occasion, batting .151. The umpires at home place, John Rice at home plate, Bill Koppel at first base, John Red Flaherty at second base, and Ron Luciano at third. And now the New York Yankees take the field, and as they do, the Baltimore coaches come out. Billy Hunter coaches at third base, and George Stoller coaches at first base. And now Bob Shepard, the public address announcer here at Yankee Stadium, for the final time during this baseball season, invites the crowd to rise and join Robert Merrill in singing our national anthem.
Proudly we hail at the twilight. whose broad stripes and bright stars rule the perilous fight. 'Twas around first we won, 'twas so gallantly streaming, and the rosses red glare of unquesting in air gave proof through one night that our flag was still there. So say the last of Franklin and Orient
Stan Bonson will start his warm-up throws. Bill White, it's one of those strange things. Here is Bonson, who has won 14 and lost 10 this year. He's above 500 career-wise, 55 and 50 in the American League, but he's never been able to beat Baltimore.
It's just one of those things. You have trouble with different teams. Baltimore, of course, has a good-hitting ball club, but as you said earlier, I'm sure Stan would like to break that string because it is a negative string.
It's strange how some pitchers have a lot of trouble with certain ball clubs. Look at Jim Schellenbach of the Washington Senators. The only club he beats is New York. Some pitchers can beat certain clubs where they have trouble with everybody else. Same with some of the pitchers. Even the best pitchers have trouble with certain hitters. They just never can seem to get them out. I was talking to Dave McNally about that before the ball game, and he said Frank Howard is one guy he can never get out. He said Howard hits him like he owns him.
You know what keeps us going? The player starts thinking that way, and it's not a positive way to think, and it sort of keeps carrying on, snowballs, and pretty soon you throw that glove out there, you know you're going to lose, or you throw the fastball up, you know Howard's going to hit it out.
All right, in addition to the ceremonies for Jake Gibbs before the game, firemen representing the New York City Fire Department presented scrolls of appreciation to the Yankee players who participated in the clinics this summer in the community relations program of the department. Clinics were held in the Bronx, Brooklyn, and Harlem. Fire Commissioner Robert Lowry on hand to make the presentations. All right, we're ready to go, and as Stan Bonson throws the first pitch of the ball game, here is Bill White. Bill?
All right, Frank Messer is bounced down to Ellis. John dives to his left near the line, comes up with the ball, and beats Buford to the bag. Johnny Ellis diving to his left. Getting off of his knees and beating a speedy Don Buford to the bag. There's one out as Buford swings on the first pitch from Bonson. Don was batting .289. That'll bring in Paul Blair, the center fielder. Blair batting .261. He has 10 home runs, 43 runs batted in. He hits right-handed. Bonson misses outside. Blair had tried to switch hit earlier in the year, but gave it up. Didn't hit well once the season started, batting left-handed. He started to see a lot of curveballs. That slider gets the outside corner, 1-1. Spring training, Blair hit about .400 left-handed. Then the pitcher's arms got a little bit stronger. They start putting a little twist on the ball. It's a little tougher than just hitting fastballs. Now Bonson's over the head. 1-1 pitch to Blair. Swung on and missed. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Just underway, Jake Gibbs playing his last game at Yankee Stadium is catching. Johnny Ellis at first base. Forrest Clark at second. Gene Michael at short. Ron Hansen down at third. Here's the 1-2 pitch now to Blair. Curveball's high. Counts even 2-2. And the outfield for the Yankees, Roy White in left field. Felipe Alou in center. And Ronnie Bloomberg in right. And they're playing straight away. Bonson takes a big breath. Now he pumps and deals a 2-2 pitch to Blair. Change up. Fouled off. Out of Gibbs' glove. Still 2-2. Good change. Down low. Blair just snipped it. On deck moved Powell. We're underway here at Yankee Stadium. We're in the first inning. 1 out, nobody on. Counts 2-2 on Blair. Bonson's ready. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Driven foul down the right side. That'll be out of play. Still 2 balls and 2 strikes. Lifetime, Stan Bonson has won 55 games and lost 50. He's 14-10 this year. Hasn't beat Baltimore lifetime. He's 0-8 against him, as Frank Messer mentioned to you earlier. Ponsonbury, the 2-2 pitch to Blair, misses high and wide. 3-2, full count. The Yankees in 4th place. 2 games now behind the 3rd place Boston Red Sox. Payoff pitch, swung on, fouled off. Boston tried to jam him with a fastball. Blair got a good cut at it. Baltimore still in 1st place, 7.5 games over Detroit. Boston 14.5 games out. And the Yankees 16.5 games out. Stan looking at it, Gibbs. Now he's ready. Here's the payoff pitch again. Fastball's popped foul on the right side. That'll be in the upper deck. Foul. Comes back down. Still 3-2. Baltimore has taken the first 2 games of this series. The Yankees had won 4 in a row prior to that. 3-2 pitch to Blair. Swung on. Bounced in the hole. Pass. Hansen. Michael gets it. Throws off balance, but Blair beats it out. Ball was hit on the left side in the hole. Pass Hansen to the third baseman. Michael went over, threw off balance. No way he can get a speedy Paul Blair. Blair on at first base with an infield hit. And that's Boog Powell. You hear those boogs for. Big first baseman. 19 home runs, 83 runs batted in. Hey, Frank Messer, this fella is swinging the bat a lot better. He's really mashing.
Powell told me downstairs in the dugout before the game, Bill, that he wished the season were just starting. That he is feeling good now for the first time all year.
Lots of stretches. Fastball gets the outside corner. Called strike. And you can tell it in the way he's getting the head of the bat out.
And that's due in great part to the fact that his right wrist is now healed up and doesn't pain him. He had it broken earlier in the year and even played with it broken for about a week or so.
All right, Blair leads from first. Johnny Ellis holding him there. 1 out. 1-0 pitch to Powell. Swung on. Strike 2. Gets the inside corner. Powell tried to hold up.
Powell's hit some long home runs. One of the longest, he hit a ball completely out of White Sox Park in Chicago a few years ago. But he said tonight he didn't think he had ever hit a ball any harder than the line drive home run he hit last night.
Nice. 2 balls and 2 strikes on him as Bonson comes to the belt. Blair leads. 0-2 pitch. Called off. They play Powell to pull, naturally, and deep. Bloomberg deep in right field. Alou playing deep and in right center. And White gives Powell much of the left field line. He plays deep and in left center.
Amazing thing about Powell, they do play him to pull, but he has good power to left field.
As big as he is, he has good power when he fouls the ball off back here.
I'm getting ready to duck right now.
Here's the 0-2 pitch to him. Curveball driven deep to right field. That ball is going. That's in the upper deck. Baltimore leads 2-0. For Boog Powell, home run number 20, RBIs number 84 and 85. He gets a little slap from Brooks Robinson as he passes him in the on-deck circle. Frank Robinson's in. And Powell hit an 0-2 pitch and drove it into the upper deck. Pitch to Frank Robinson's inside a ball. Frank batting .282. He has 27 home runs, and it looks like he has the only opportunity to drive in 100 runs on this ball club. He has 96. Curveballs bounce down the third base line, foul. 1-1. Frank needs 4 RBIs for 100. Bonson looking at Gibbs. Here's the 1-1 pitch to Frank Robinson. Curveball gets us in there, called strike 2. Baltimore leads 2-0 on Boog Powell's 20th home run with the man on. 1-2 pitch to Frank Robinson. High. Fastball. 2-2. Bobby Mercer leads the Yankees in RBIs with 87. Roy White has 81. 2-2 pitch now to Frank Robinson. Curveball driven deep to left field. Back out there the track, Roy White. He has room now. Turns and one-hands it. 2 outs. That ball was hit hard. A lot of room out there, though. And in front of the 402 foot mark. At least 20 more feet, so Frank Robinson hit that ball 380 feet at least. Here's Brooks Robinson. Brooksy batting .270. Takes high. Has 19 home runs, 88 runs batted in. Hasn't lost any of his agility down to third base. Still make the play. 1-0 pitch from Bonson. Curveball popped up down the first baseline. Ellis back. Fades back into foul territory. And the ball goes right between his outstretched hands. Just foul. That ball was popped up down the right field line. Johnny Ellis faded back. He went in foul territory. Went back into fair territory again and put both hands out. And the ball fell right between the glove and the hand. And it's no play. We'll keep track of no plays.
We've got a special column for it.
1-1 pitch now. Misses outside. 2 balls and a strike on Brooks Robinson. 2 out. Baltimore ahead 2-0. Stan looks at Gibbs. 2-1 pitch. Fastball hit on the ground toward Ellis. Base hit right field. Past Ellis on his right. Bloomberg comes up with the ball, and Brooks Robinson's on with a base hit. He went to the opposite field. And that'll bring in Ellie Hendricks, the left-handed hitting catcher. Hendricks shares the catching with Andy Etchebarren and Clay Dalrymple. Etchebarren hits right-handed. Hendricks and Dalrymple, they're left-handed hitters. Ellie batting .242, 8 home runs, 37 runs batted in. Takes a strike on the outside corner. They play Hendricks to pull. Johnny Ellis holds Brooks Robinson there at first. Brooks has no stolen bases this year. He's checked by Bonson. 0-1 pitch. Swung on and missed. Fastball threw it past him. No balls and 2 strikes. 2 outs. Baltimore ahead 2-0. The first half of the first inning. Hendricks has that long bat, 37 inches long, 37 ounces. Stands deep in the box. 0-2 pitch. The curveball is too low from Bonson. Davy Johnson on deck. Elrod stands deep in the box. Feet close together, just slightly closed stance. Here's a 1-2 pitch. Fastball fouled straight back. Still a ball and 2 strikes. Brooks Robinson goes back and tags first base. One final. The Cubs beat the Mets 4-1. Milwaukee, Minnesota postponed already. Here's 1-2 pitch now to Ellie Hendricks. Bounced foul down the first baseline. That was a changeup. Straight change. Hendricks out front. This fella's a free swinger. Sprays the ball all over. The Yankees claim the pull. Gibbs gives Bonson the sign. 1-2 pitch to Hendricks. Popped up in foul territory. That's going to be out of play. Over behind the Oriole dugout. Down the third baseline. Hansen can't get to it. Still 1 ball and 2 strikes. Third base umpire Ron Luciano running with Hansen step for step. He wanted to be there to make sure Hansen got the ball in case he had a chance. Now Bonson stretches. Checks Brooks Robinson at first. 1-2 pitch. Almost hits him inside. Counts even. 2 balls and 2 strikes. In that Chicago Cub Met game, the Cubs won 4-1. Hands was a winner. He won his 12th game. He's lost 18. Gentry, the loser. He's won 12 and lost 11. 2-2 pitch. Looped into left field. That's going to be foul. Hansen's after it. He can't get to it. Back in the seats. 2 rolls. Still 2-2 on Hendricks. Well, he got jammed a little bit with that pitch. Shakes his hand as he comes back. And the home plate umpire, John Rice, got some new supply of baseballs. Hendricks has fouled 4 or 5 pitches off here in the first inning. Counts 2-2 on him. 2 outs. Brooks Robinson at first. Baltimore leads 2-0 on Boog Powell's shot in the upper deck in right field, his 20th, with Paul Blair on. Bonson comes to the belt. 2-2 pitch. Fastball. Bounce up the middle. Horace Clark after it. Can't get to it. Base hit center field. Robinson around second. He'll go to third. Alou comes up with the ball, and Robbie's at third base safely. So is Hendricks at first base. So Baltimore has runners at first and third. And that'll bring in Dave Johnson, the second baseman. I mentioned before, the Yankees were playing Hendricks to pull. That brought Clark in the hole. The ball was up the middle, hit hard. He couldn't get to it. Now Gibbs out talking to Bonson. Stan has given up 4 hits this inning, including Powell's 20th home run. As Baltimore leads 2-0. Palmer walked in, just getting to the dugout from the bullpen where he'd been warming up. Sand stretches. Inside to Johnson. Johnson batting .285. He has 17 home runs, 69 runs batted in. We talk about the Robinsons, Powells, and Blairs. We won't say too much about Dave Johnson, but he's having quite a year, this fella. He bats right-handed. Takes outside. 2 balls and no strikes. In fact, the early part of the year, he did most of the hitting for Baltimore. He got him through a lot of close victories. While they waited on Frank Robinson to come around and Boog Powell to come around, Brooks Robinson, David Johnson did a lot of hitting for the Orioles. Stan Bonson looks in at Gibbs. Looks a long while. Now he's ready. 2-0 pitch. Swung on and missed. 2 balls and a strike. Johnson didn't want to go, but he went too far. Now Bonson backs off. Picks up the rosin. And he's ready. Stretches. 2-1 pitch to Johnson. Curveball driven to left field. That'll be foul, out of play. Back in the seats. Counts even now. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Brooks Robinson goes back to third base. Ellie Hendricks jogs back into first. Bonson's ready. The 2-2 pitch. Fastball popped up into center field. Alou moves to his left and waits. He's waiting on it, and he has it for the 3rd out. So Davy Johnson flies out to Felipe Alou for the 3rd out in the first inning. For Baltimore, 2 runs on 4 hits, including the big home run by Boog Powell with a man on. There were no Yankee errors, although there was 1 no play. And 2 men left on base. At the end of the half inning, Baltimore 2 and the Yankees coming to bat.
You know, you don't have to be at Yankee Stadium to enjoy good humor. You don't even have to look for the good humor man. You don't have to listen for those bells to be ringing and run out of your house and fear that you might miss them. Because now you can buy big, beautiful boxes of good humor bars right in your favorite supermarket. And every box is filled with 6 or 8 bars of the most deliciously different good humor flavors. Flavors like toasted almond, strawberry shortcake, chocolate eclair, and whammies. And you know, they're all made with the old-fashioned wholesomeness that good humor has been famous for since 1920. So a good idea is to stock up at home on grocery packs of good humor. It's what the world needs more of. Delicious good humor. Toasted almond, strawberry shortcake, chocolate eclair, and whammies.
This is the New York Yankee Baseball Network. Let's pause for station identification.
Duracell, the long-distance power cell, lasts longer than any ordinary battery. Duracell, made by Mallory. WMCA New York, Dialogue Radio 57, your New York Yankee station.
All right, Jim Palmer, a big right-hander who's won 18 games and lost 9. He's 1-0 against the Yankees in 1971, 10-2 lifetime. He's ready for Horace Clark. Clark takes high for ball. House batting .246. He has 2 home runs, 41 runs batted in. He bats left-handed against Palmer. Outfield plays him in close. That's pop foul, out of play, down the left side. Back up into the stands. Hey, Palmer's pitching fast. The big right-hander's ready. Curveballs popped up in foul territory over there in the Orioles dugout. Brooks Robinson's after it. So is Hendricks. A hit's on top of the dugout. Bounces way back in the seats. And it's 1-2 on Clark. I guess in that National League West race, San Francisco is at Houston and L.A. is at Cincinnati. 1-2 pitch to Clark. Curveballs looped in the short left field. Blair's right there, though. They're playing him shallow, and Paul has it for the first out. They had Clark. Plays perfectly. And here's a hand for Jake Gibbs. Baltimore leads 2-0. The last half of the first inning. Gibbs batting .217, 5 home runs, 19 runs batted in. Gibbs playing his last game here at the stadium. He takes low a ball. Palmer's ready. Pitch is popped foul, out of play. Back on the netting. A ball and a strike on Gibbs. Gibbs has been with the Yankees and the Yankee organization since June of 1961. Fouls the next pitch off, 1-2. Spent 61 in Richmond. 62, he first came up to the Yankees, only got in a couple of ball games. Split 63 with Richmond in New York, also 64. 65 split with Toledo in New York, and finally in 66, he came up and stayed. He takes outside, 2-2 from Palmer. Gibbs' best year in the majors last year when he hit .301. 8 home runs, 26 runs batted in. Curveball's high. Full count on Gibbs. So Jake Gibbs, after 10 years in the Yankee organization, will go back to Mississippi and become the baseball coach. Payoff pitch is fouled off. And also the chief football recruiter. For the ball game, his teammates gave him a case. Bounced foul down the third baseline, out of play. Gave him a case which to keep his scouting reports in. A nice leather case. Also a box of cigars with one missing. Ralph Houck had to test them. There might have been 2 missing, too. The scooter was down there. 3-2 pitch to Gibbs. Fastball popped up into short right field. Frank Robinson's cutting near the line. He waits now and has it for the second out. 2 outs here in the first inning, and Felipe Alou is the hitter. And the Yankees also gave Jake a oil painting of himself when he hit his last home run here in the stadium.
Beautiful oil painting. I believe it was painted in France. Alou lines a base hit to right field down the line. Felipe, as Robinson
hustles on the ball around first base. He's in at second with a double. So Lou, with 2 outs, doubles down the right field line. That's Felipe's 131st hit of the year. He's batting .285. That'll bring in Roy White here in the last of the first. Baltimore leads 2-0. White at .284, 17 home runs, 80 runs batted in. That was also Lou's 21st double. Tim Palmer looks in at his catcher, Ellie Hendricks, and he stretches. Fastball is swung on and missed. Goes right by him inside. Baltimore has moved Powell at first, Davy Johnson at second, Bobby Grich at short, and Brooks Robinson down at third. In the outfield, Buford, Blair, and Frank Robinson. 0-1 pitch to White. Curveball's too low. Dick Hauser is coaching. He's coaching at third for the Yankees. Ellie Howard at first. Alou leads from second. Palmer checks it. The 1-1 pitch to White. Outside. 2 balls and a strike. The boomer, Ron Blomberg on deck. Yankees behind 2-0. The last half of the first inning with 2 outs. Felipe takes a big lead at second. 2-1 pitch. Fastball gets the outside corner. Counts even. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Palmer comes to the belt. Checks the loop. 2-2 pitch. Curveball bounces in front of the plate, but Ellie Hendricks blocks it. Comes up with it. Full count. This is the last game of the season here at Yankee Stadium. The Yankees have a weekend series in Detroit and an off day Monday the 27th of September. And then 3 night games against the Washington Senators. Yankees 2 games behind Boston. Payoff pitch to White. Fouled off. The upper deck. Out of play. Still 3-2. Palmer's ready. He checks Alou at second. Here's a 3-2 pitch to White. Fastball swung on. Foul straight back. Still 3-2. White with a good ripple at that fastball. Alou goes back and he touches second. Last of the first. Baltimore 2, Yankees nothing. Payoff pitch. A curveball taken. Ball 4. Wow, White really started to swing at that. He held the bat up at the last moment. The ball dipped just inside the plate and under the bat. So White's at first base, and here's Ron Blomberg. The boomer batting .316, 7 home runs, 29 runs batted in. Palmer's ready. He pitches fast. Fastball. Called a strike. Blomberg tried to hold up, but he couldn't. Went too far. As Johnny Ellis leaves the dugout, he comes up into the on-deck circle. The Yankees have runners at first and second with 2 outs. We're the last of the first. Baltimore leads 2-0. Jim Palmer looking for his 19th win of the year. And he's ready. The 0-1 pitch. Fastball. Swung on and missed. Good fastball. No balls and 2 strikes. Just threw that by him. Ronnie's missed a couple of ball games. It'll take him just a bit of extra hitting to get his timing back. Palmer can get that ball in there in a hurry. He stretches. Alou leaves. So does White. Wow, swung on and fouled off. Trying to get him zeroed in. No balls and 2 strikes with 2 outs on Ron Blomberg. Palmer isn't wasting any pitches. He threw an 0-2 fastball. Boomer just missed it. And the pitch almost hits him inside with a slider. 1-2. Philippe Pelou is at second base. He doubled. Roy White walked. He's at first. There are 2 outs. We're still in the last half of the first inning. Baltimore has a 2-0 lead. Here's the 1-2 pitch to Bloomberg. Curveball, too low. Count's even. 2 balls and 2 strikes. They play Bloomberg to pull. The outfield doesn't play too deep here for Baltimore. Frank Robinson in right field. Paul Blair in center. And the 2-2 pitch. Fastball bounce. Base hit right field. Alou will have to hurry. He's around third base, and he'll score easily as White goes into third base. Bloomberg holds first. The Yankees pick up a run. Baltimore now leads 2-1. For Bloomberg, base hit number 61, RBI number 30. Not too bad a ratio, Phil Rizzuto.
No, not bad at all. And you got to give him a lot of credit. He looked bad on 2 pitches that he swung at. Hung right in there, hit that good fastball.
Now here's Johnny Ellis. Roy White's at third, Ron Bloomberg's at first. Baltimore leads 2-1. There are 2 outs. Ellis batting .235. Big fella has 3 home runs, 27 runs batted in. Fouls the first pitch off. Gets Hendricks on the mat. Play Ellis straight away. Baltimore outfield doesn't play too deep. They play in close. Palmer stretches. High. 1-1. Well, the Yankees are fighting back. Baltimore won the first 2 games of this series. Yankees trying to come from behind here. Baltimore took a 2-0 lead on Powell's home run in the first inning. Baltimore, they're tough. Curve misses outside. 2 balls and a strike. Yankees picked up their one run here in the first. Last half of the first, a Lou double. White walk. Bloomberg single to right field. Now the count's 2 balls and a strike on Johnny Ellis. 2-1 pitch. Swung on. 2-2. Palmer got away with the high slider, and he's upset that he hit that ball up a little too high. He turns his back on the plate, rubs the ball up. Ellis didn't want to swing at it, but he went too far. Palmer doesn't like the sign. Shakes off another one. Now he's ready. Bloomberg leads from first. Curveball over Ellis's head. Almost hit him. Full count. Now Bloomberg will run. As it's 3-2 with 2 outs. So Bloomberg will start from first base. White leads from third. Palmer stretches. 3-2 pitch to Ellis. Pop foul, out of play, straight back. And Bloomberg hustling all the way down to second will have to turn around and run back to first. On deck, Ron Hansen. Palmer's pitching fast. Line drive right back to Palmer. He catches it off his left knee. And that's it. Saved a base hit. As Ellis lines back to Palmer. The Yankees pick up 1 run on 2 hits. No errors and 2 men left on base. At the end of 1, Baltimore 2, the Yankees 1.
Why run around from bank to bank? You can do all your banking, checking, savings, and loans at First National City. They're a full-service bank. Speaking of money, I want to talk about Jake Gibbs just a little bit. Jake was one of the big bonus boys, as you know, Bill White, signed by the Yankees right out of the University of Mississippi. And he came to the Yankees not as a catcher, as we all know, but as a third baseman. But he was the kind of guy that wherever manager Ralph Houck, who did sign Jake Gibbs at the time, wanted him to play, he said he would try it. Ralph decided to make him a catcher. He went through all the trials and tribulations, broken fingers, split fingers. Turned out to be one of the best catchers in baseball. And I think handling pitches like that, I think he's going to be able to handle the young men that he's going to be working with at the University of Mississippi the same way. And those youngsters are in for a great treat because Jake has a lot of patience.
Well, talking about Jake Gibbs, Phil, I see him spending a lot of time talking to Jim Turner, the pitching coach, because he's going to, Gibbs is going to have to be the manager.
That's right.
Pitching coach. He might have to coach first and third.
True. Traveling secretary.
Trainer.
Drive the bus.
Drive the bus.
Minor leagues, we had to do that, if you remember.
Yeah. And also, while he's doing all that, he's still going to have to recruit football players.
Yeah, that's true.
And I think they're worried more about that football team down there than the baseball team,
I'm afraid they are. That's more of a moneymaker.
All right. Is that Archie Manning that played down there? Played at,
yeah,
Gibbs
Jake
coached
coached
Archie
him,
Manning?
Yeah.
Gibbs should have got a little piece of that bonus he got then. Played both ends. All right, we go into the top of the second. Bobby Grich will lead off for Baltimore. Fouls a pitch straight back. This is the first game for this young fella. The fourth ball game for him. He's been at bat 13 times. He has 5 hits. 3 runs batted in. He's batting .385. Called up from Rochester during the Little World Series. Fouls that one off in the upper deck on the right side. Very unusual for Baltimore to call his shortstop Grich up while the Little World Series was going on.
Certainly is.
Belanger was out working out today, so he must be getting a little better. Bronson's ready now with the 0-2 pitch to Grich. Popped up, and behind the plate, Gibbs doesn't see it, but it'll be too far anyway. Back up on the screen. Still no balls and 2 strikes. Bronson jammed him then with a fastball. Baltimore ahead, 2-1. We're at the top of the second. Baltimore scored their 2 runs on a home run by Luke Powell after Blair got an infield hit. It was Powell's 20th home run. 84th and 85th runs batted in. Yankees picked up theirs when a Lou doubled. White walked and Bloomberg singled to right. So Baltimore leads 2-1 here in the second. Bonson's ready. The 0-2 pitch. Outside, 1-2. Waste to the fastball. Stands ready again. The 1-2 pitch to Grich. Fouled off. They bunch Grich toward the middle. White gives him a lot of room down the left field line. A loose straightaway in center as Ronnie Bloomberg in right. Bonson taking a long look at Gibbs. Now he's ready. 1-2 pitch to Grich. Popped foul. That'll be out of play on the right side behind the Yankee dugout. Tell you, Rochester could probably use this fella, because Denver beat Rochester 12-11 last night. And the Little World Series now stands at 3 games apiece between Denver and Rochester. And I imagine if they lose that thing, they'll really be upset with Baltimore, taking Grich away from them. He lines the ball to center field, and Lou is there, now hustling in. He's there and grabs it chest high. Grich lines to Lou in center field for the first out here in the second inning. That'll bring in Jim Palmer, the pitcher. Palmer is 19 for 93 with 8 runs batted in, just a bit over 200. And they play him to hit to right field as Alou moves Bloomberg closer to the right field line as he moves into right center field. There's a gap in left center. Bounces the first pitch to shortstop. Michael moves toward the bag at second, has it, flips to Ellis, and there's 1 away. 2 away, I'm sorry. 2 out, 6-3 in the second. That'll bring in Don Buford, the left fielder. Buford 0 for 1. The little switch hitter bounced to John Ellis at first base his first trip. Don batting .288. He gets on base over 40% of the time, counting base hits, walks, hit 5 pitches. An ideal leadoff man. Lets the bat rest on his left shoulder as Bonson comes over the head. Bounced foul down the first baseline, the first pitch. No balls and a strike. 2 outs here. We're in the second inning, the top of the second. Baltimore has 2 runs on 4 hits. The Yankees 1 run on 2 hits. Bonson trying to win his 15th game of the year. Stanley is ready. The 0-1 pitch to Buford. Fastball's looped into left field. That'll be a base hit. Buford picks up the 5th base hit of the evening for Baltimore as he singles, loops a single into left field, and that'll bring in Paul Blair. Bonson will have to watch Buford. He has 14 stolen bases with 2 outs. Baltimore's Earl Weaver might start his runner here. Blair got an infield single. His first trip and scored a run. Curveballs, foul straight back and out of play. Blair hit a ball in the hole past Hanson, the third baseman. Michael gloved it, but couldn't get him as he threw off balance. Ben Powell hit his 20th home run into the upper deck in right field to give Baltimore a 2-0 lead, but the Yankees tied it. Didn't tie it. They picked up 1 run in the their half of the first to cut that lead in half. Down the dirt, gets past Gibbs. Buford will go to second, and he'll round second base as Gibbs. He's trying for third as a fan picks the ball up. He'll make, let's see now. Billy Hunter's arguing down with Ron Luciano, but here comes Weaver.
I'll tell you.
They're going to make Buford go back to second, but he would have made third easily.
Easily. If it were a judgment call, they should leave Buford at third base.
Well, Earl Weaver's calling a meeting now. He's bringing Luciano and Flaherty together. Out at second base. Buford walks back towards second. And Weaver's pointing toward third. He has a good argument here. Gibbs lost the ball after it got up. Jake looked around, finally saw it back near the Yankee bullpen, the Yankee dugout, just to the down below us here. And by the time Jake got ready to reach for the ball, Buford was around second, going to third, and some fan had a little quicker hands. Grabbed it. Buford will stay at second, though, as Weaver has lost his argument. And he runs off the field. And the count is 1-1 on Blair. There are 2 outs. And Buford now leads from second. They play Blair straight away. Bonson stretches. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Changeup. Looped into center field. Lou will have to hurry. Felipe is there now. Backs up a bit. Slipped out there, but he grabbed the ball. So Blair flies to center field. Baltimore in the second, and no runs on 1 hit. There were no errors and a man left on base. At the end of 1.5, Baltimore 2, the Yankees 1.
You know how it is with that first cold beer. It goes down so easy, and it tastes so good. Now, wouldn't it be great if your second beer tasted just the same? Just as smooth and just as bright? And imagine getting all that first beer pleasure every beer through. Man, that'd be some kind of beer. And Schaefer beer is.
Schaefer is the wonder to have when you're having more than one. Schaefer pleasure doesn't fade when your thirst is done. The most rewarding flavor in this man's world for people who are having fun. Schaefer is the wonder to have when you're having more than one.
Well, the Orioles pitcher Jim Palmer has had 2 starts against the Yankees this season. Back on June 19th, he pitched to no decision, but he allowed 4 runs in 8 1/3 innings. The Yankees won that ball game in 11. Dick Hall was a loser in relief. On August 7th, Palmer won. He rolled a 4-hitter, beat the Yankees 3-1. He'll face Ron Hansen as Baltimore leads 2-1 in the last of the second. Hansen takes high a ball. Ron batting .231 with 2 home runs, 14 runs batted in. 1-0 pitch from Palmer. Swung on, line right at the shortstop bridge. He doesn't move at all, just gets his glove up, takes it chest high. 1 away. Gene Michaels, a hitter. Stan Bonson in the on-deck circle. They really shorten up for Michael, the outfield and the infield. He takes high. Buford, the left fielder, plays in close and near the line in left field. Blair, the center fielder, is very close out there. Palmer gets the outside corner with a strike. 1-1. Frank Robinson in right field. He's in shallow. 1-1 pitch from Palmer. Curveball's high. Palmer's had a trouble getting his curveball over. His pitch has been the fastball and the slider. He's been pitching fast now. The 2-1 pitch, swung on and missed the fastball. Threw it by him. Palmer throws a heavy, hard fastball. The overhand curve he's been wild with. Slider has been a good out pitch for him. Here's a 2-2 pitch now. Fastball's foul down the left field line. Bounces into the seats. Still 2-2. Now Michael calls time. He wants some rosin. And Palmer wants another baseball, and he gets it from the umpire, John Rice. Gene wanted pine tar. Now stick back in there. Palmer's ready. Here's a 2-2 pitch to Michael. Changeup is looped down the left field line, right down the line. The shortstop Gritch is right on the line and grabs it. Hey, that Gritch has a little range there. Quite a bit of range. He hustled behind Brooks Robinson at third base and caught that little looper. That would have been trouble because it was a fair ball. Gritch coming all the way from shortstop caught it right on the line. There are 2 outs. And Stan Bonson's a hitter. Takes outside a ball. Baltimore leads 2-1. We're in the last of the second. 1-0 pitch to Bonson. It's too high. Ball 2. Palmer's ready. The 2-0 pitch. Too high. Ball 3. Bonson ducked under that one. It's too high anyway. And the 3-0 pitch. That gets a plate. 3-1. Palmer's a big fella. He's 6'3", weighs 200, and he gets another one in. Full count now on Bonson with 2 outs in the last half of the second inning. And the payoff pitch is swung on and missed. Palmer racks up his first strikeout, and that's it for the Yankees in the second inning. 3 men up and 3 men down. At the end of 2, Baltimore 2, New York 1.
My name's Don Porter. I'm 24, been married 3 years almost. I got 1 kid, another on the way. Of course, I'm lucky. I've got a good job. But, well, anything can happen, so I do a lot of worrying about money. You know, what happens if somebody needs an operation? Who'll pay for college if I'm not here? Anyway, I'll tell you what I got into. A special plan at First National City Bank. They worked it out with an insurance company, Connecticut General. They call it Savings Plus Life Insurance, because that's what it is. You see, I've got this savings account at First National City. It gets nice interest, and on my say-so, the bank uses part of the interest to buy me term life insurance, automatically. So I don't touch my savings, and I've got life insurance. It's a good deal.
It is a good deal. No medical exam, no health statement, any age 15 to 59. Look into it in any of our more than 200 branches around New York, or call Dial-A Service 212-559-3333. Savings Plus Life Insurance at First National City, the only bank your family ever needs. Member FDIC.
This is the New York Yankee Baseball Network. Let's pause for station identification.
Yet an extra inning of flavor with imported Finland Swiss cheese. Deliciously fantastic Finland Swiss cheese. WMCA New York, Dialogue Radio 57, your New York Yankee station.
Oh, Stan Bonson will have to face Boog Powell, Frank Robinson, and Brooks Robinson. That's the heart of this Baltimore batting order here in the third inning. This big fella has got both Baltimore runs. He's responsible for both Baltimore runs with his 20th home run into the right field seats back in the first inning with Paul Blair on. And he's really been swinging the bat these last 3 games against the Yankees. Powell 6'3", 6'4", weighs about 250. And he swings on the first pitch and flies to center field. Alou has the range on this one. Pounds the glove, waits, and there's one away. That'll bring in the right fielder, Frank Robinson. Frank sent Roy White back to the track in left field his first trip. Hit a ball about 382 feet out there. The outfield swings around toward left field for him. Bonson with the ball in front of him. Now he goes into motion. And the pitch to Robinson. Fastball, a called strike. Stan takes a big breath. Now he's ready. Here's the 0-1 pitch to Frank Robinson. Curveball swung on and missed. No balls and 2 strikes. Bonson out ahead quickly. 0-2 with 1 out. Baltimore leads 2-1. We're in the top of the third inning. Baltimore has 2 runs on 5 hits. The Yankees 1 run on 2 hits. Now Stan's ready. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Inside, Robinson started but held up. And it's 1-2. Bonson gets a little rosin. Looks at Gibbs. Takes a big breath. Bends forward. Now he's ready. Over the head. 1-2 pitch to Frank Robinson. Fastball. Hit up in the air toward left field. White hustles in out there. He'd been playing deep. Now he has the range and he one-hands it. That's nice. 2 outs. Everybody catching the ball one-handed. I think Amos Otis started that. Mercer's doing it. White's doing it now. It's okay, but don't drop it. 2 outs, and here's Brooks Robinson. He singled to right field his first trip. Ellis moves in a hole for him. Down low a ball, a slider. Brooks hit the ball just to the right of John Ellis, and John's trying to compensate for that as he gets just a bit closer to Horace Clark at second base. 1-0 pitch from Bonson. Changeup is too low. 2 balls and no strikes. 2 outs, nobody on. We're in the third, top of the third. Baltimore 2, the Yankees 1. Bonson's in motion. 2-0 pitch to Brooks Robinson. Line down the left field line. If it's fair, it's a double. It's a fair ball. The ball's around the corner. White grabs it. And Brooks Robinson will glide into second base with a 2-base hit. He's 2 for 2. That'll bring in Ellie Hendricks, a catcher. Hendricks center, let's see, he singled up the middle his first trip. Yankee infield and outfield will pull around toward right for him. Ellie 1 for 1. Baltimore now with 6 hits. 2 of them for extra bases. Powell's home run, Robinson's double. Brooks Robinson's double. Pitch to Hendricks. Bounced foul. That'll be into the Yankee dugout. 1 ball game played this afternoon. Chicago Cubs 4. New York Mets 1. The Mets now 14 games behind Pittsburgh. They won 79, lost 76. Cubs move 2 games up on them in the battle for third. Fastball line, base hit, center field. Right out of the gap, Brooks Robinson around third base. He'll score. Hendricks takes a long lead around first, but he'll go back. Hendricks took a long turn there. Baltimore now leads 3-1. That'll bring in Dave Johnson, the second baseman. This Baltimore team has a tough lineup to get through. They've got a lot of sticks in there. They can start with Buford, go all the way down to their pitcher, actually. And there's not an easy out in that whole lineup. Here's David Johnson. He singled to, he flied to center his first trip with 2 outs. Here's Hendricks leading, fouled off. No balls and a strike. Bonson's luck continues to be bad against Baltimore. He hasn't beaten them all year. He hasn't beaten them in his career, in fact. 0-8. 0-1 pitch to Johnson. Misses inside, 1-1. Stan stretches, takes a peek at Hendricks from first. 1-1 pitch. High, ball 2. On deck, Bobby Grich. Here's a 2-1 pitch to Johnson. Gets the outside corner. Counts even. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Bonson takes a look at the scoreboard. Now he's ready. 2-2 pitch. Swung on. Fouled straight back. Still 2 balls and 2 strikes. Ellie Hendricks goes back. He stands on the first base bag. Baltimore leads 3-1. We're in the first half of the third inning with 2 outs. Here's a 2-2 pitch now to Johnson. Changeup is too low. Full count. Hendricks will run now with 3-2-2. So the throw will have to be made at first base. Here's a 3-2 pitch. There goes Hendricks. Line drive up the middle. Base hit. Hendricks will round second base. He'll go to third. And Dave Johnson will stop at first. So Baltimore pecking away here. Have runners at first and third. And the hitter is Bobby Grich, the shortstop. That's hit number 8 against Bonson. Six singles, 1 home run by Powell, and a double by Brooks Robinson. Grich, a big fella, 6'2", he weighs 180. That's right-handed. That's McCrouch. And he chokes on the bat. He tries a bunt right back to Bonson. No, he'll go to first. And they've got him there. Grich tried to trick the Yankees, but Bonson broke off the mound quickly, grabbed that ball, and threw him out easily at first base. But Baltimore picked up another run on 3 hits. There were no Yankee errors. There were 2 men left on base. At the end of 2.5 innings of play, Baltimore 3, the Yankees 1.
Quincy Jones and Orchestra for Coca-Cola.
As we go into the last half of the third inning, Forrest Clark will lead off for the Yankees. He's got to get going here. Baltimore leads 3-1. Dave McNally has won 20 games and lost 5. He won last night. Pat Dobbs has won 19 and lost 8. Won the night before. Mike Cuellar's 19-9. Palmer looking for his 19th victory tonight. Throws the ball to Clark. Jim has won 18 and lost 9. A short enough for White, both in the infield and the outfield. He fouls the pitch off. 1-1. Hoss has been up once. He's flied to center field. On deck, Jake Gibbs. Palmer's ready. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Fastball up the middle. Johnson gloves it behind second. Off balance throw, and they've got him. David Johnson moving to his right behind second base. Jump. Threw the ball off balance to Booth. Foul. They got Clark by a good step. 1 away. These guys not only hit the ball well, they play good defense. Gibbs swings and misses the first pitch.
I think I could win 20 games pitching for this club. They hit, they run, they field.
Yes, sir. They don't beat themselves. Gibbs is 0 for 1. Misses outside. 1-1. Palmer's ready. He doesn't waste any time between pitches. 1-1 pitch to Gibbs. Curveball. Too low. 2-1. There's a gap in left center for Gibbs. Palmer's pitching him away, too. 2-1 pitch. Down low, ball 3. 3 balls and a strike. Palmer struck out 1. He's also walked 1. Only given up 1 run. As Baltimore leads 3-1 here in the last of the third with 1 out. This is driven to right field. Frank Robinson's there, though. Moves to his right, and he has it for the second out. 2 outs, and here's Alou. With 2 outs back in the first inning, Alou doubled down the right field line. White walked, and Bloomberg drove him in with a single. So Felipe 1 for 1, and he scored the only run for the Yankees. Takes high a ball. They play Alou straight away. And not too deep. 1-0 pitch from Palmer's outside, ball 2. Pitch. Foul off. Ball got over to Roy White in the on-deck circle. He scooped it up with one hand. Now Palmer wants another baseball. He's changed quite a few baseballs. He weighs this one in his hand, feels it. Some ridges on there. Likes it. See if he throws a breaking ball here. Here's a 2-1 pitch to Alou. Fastball looped into a right center field. It's going to fall in front of Blair. Alou with a hot bat. He's 2 for 2 now. A double and a single, and he's on at first base. So Felipe picks up his 132nd hit, and he's now up to 288. Felipe's lifetime 290, so he's about there. He's really come on. He came from 236 up to 288. White walked his first trip. Alou leads. Palmer deals. Too high. See, Roy hit his last home run in Cleveland, didn't he, Phil? He hasn't hit one here in quite a while. Did he hit one here, Bill Kane? He has 17. First game of the series, he hit one. All right. Throw the first. Alou had not left the bat. Roy with 17 home runs. 80 runs batted in. 1-0 pitch to him. It's too low. 2 balls and no strikes. Palmer behind the hitters now. He got behind Alou, and Alou singled into right center field. Now he is behind White. 2-0 pitch. Strike call, a fastball right down the middle. Phil Rizzuto at first. Baltimore holds the lead 3-1. Pitch to White. Driven deep to center field. Blair's back there. Turns around now. Waits on it. And he has it for the third out. So White flies to Blair at center field. The Yankees pick up no runs. They got one hit, that by Felipe Alou, his second of the ball game, and he's 2 for 2. There were no Oriole errors, and Alou was left at first base. So at the end of 3 full innings of play, Baltimore 3 and the Yankees 1.
For left center. One away, and the batter will be Don Buford. Bounce to first and single to left. Buford hitting .290 right now. Horace Clark in the hole at second base and deep on Buford. Bonson's pitch low and inside, ball 1. On deck, Paul Blair. Changeup is low, ball 2, 2-0. Frank Messer. Yankees, instead of making a short trip to Washington next year, making a long trip to Dallas-Fort Worth.
Boy, how about that? I was surprised. I really was.
I really was too. And doubly surprised because I figured Short would not be connected with the team if they went to Dallas-Fort Worth. And he is going to be the owner. Holy cow, that ball went in back of Buford, back to the screen. And Buford glares at Bonson as he goes down to first base on a 3-0 pitch. That's one pitch you never expect to be thrown near you.
That's certainly true, and Buford went straight down, and the ball still went behind him. Jake Gibbs didn't chase the ball down right away, and since it was ball 4, Buford could have tried to go on. The ball boy picked it up, but no harm done. Buford was satisfied to get down to first base. In fact, he's satisfied he wasn't hit with him.
Oh, he is very happy.
You know what? I wonder how surprised Bob Short is now.
I think he's very surprised. I don't think it turned out the way he wanted. I'm not sure.
I'm not sure either. I wonder. We'll find out maybe when we get down to Washington.
Right. The pitch to Blair. Checked his swing, and it's low, ball 1. Blair 1 for 2. Baltimore with 8 base hits and 3 runs. They scored 2 in the first on a tremendous home run by Boog Powell, an upper deck job. And then 1 in the third inning. Yankees scored their 1 run in the bottom of the first. Buford leads away. Bonson's pitch, swing and a miss. 1-1. Actually, Washington will still be considered an Eastern team, American League East team.
Oh. Dallas will be. For Arlington, what are they going to call the ball?
Well, everybody's trying to think of names to call them. Ground ball is short, could be 2. Michael boots it. Handhandled, throws the clock. They got Buford sliding in. 3 times Michael slapped at the ball. On the third try, he got it and flipped at the clock. So it's a force play from short to second, 6-4, 2 out, and the batter will be Boog Powell.
I don't have a map of Texas, but do you know where Arlington is exactly? Is it to Dallas and Fort Worth the same as Bloomington is to Minneapolis and St. Paul?
Yes, I would. I think it's exactly that way.
Would form a triangle with the other 2 cities then. All right, 2 men are out, and Big Boog, who's swinging a hot bat right now up there. Pitch to Powell. Ground ball to second. Clock is there. Up with it. Over to Ellis, and Powell is retired. No runs, no hits, no errors, a man left. At the end of 3.5, it's Baltimore 3, the Yankees 1. Johnson gave him a backhand flick of the wrist to Bobby Grich. 4-6-3 double play, and there are 2 outs. That'll bring up Ronnie Hansen, who lined hard to short his first time up. Baltimore 3, Yankees 1, bottom of the 4th. Stretched by Palmer, the high fly to right field. Frank Robinson moving in, and to his left, Robbie digging, and one hands it on the dead run. Never appears that Frank Robinson's running hard, but he gets there. No runs, a base hit, no errors, nobody left.
And at the end of 4 full innings, it's Baltimore 3, the Yankees 1.
Remember now, you can do something nice for the environment by bringing your empty beverage bottles and aluminum cans to a Coca-Cola bottling plant near you, and get paid then, too. For information, call area code 212-679-3677, weekdays before 5 o'clock. Well, the New York Yankees trailing the Baltimore Orioles by 2 runs in this ball game. We were telling you about Boog Powell swinging the good bat recently. Coming into tonight's ball game, Powell had 8 for 16. He's 1 for 3 tonight. His 1 hit a home run, so that's 9 for his last 19. With 4 extra base hits, 2 doubles, 2 home runs, and 6 runs batted in. So he has come back all the way from the hairline fracture of his right wrist. And as he said, he wished the season was just beginning. The most important part of it may be. I'm sure that Earl Weaver, the Baltimore manager, is happy to see his big first baseman swinging the bat as well as he is, as he looks ahead to the American League Championship Series, and then, hopefully, the World Series as far as Earl Weaver and the Orioles are concerned. But there's a team that wears Kelly green, Fort Knox gold, and wedding gown white that has the same idea, that is, getting to the World Series, the Oakland A's. Frank Robinson steps in to lead off the top half of the 5th inning. And here's Phil.
All right, Frank, the batter, Frank Robinson. Twice fly to left, once very deep to left, sending Roy White back to the warning track. Watson's first pitch to Robbie, check swing, and it's in there. Strike 1 call. Gene Michael in the hole for Frank Robinson. Another one on the inside corner. Off-speed breaking pitch by Stan Bonson. 0-2. On deck, Brooks Robinson. Bonson rocks back. Low in the dirt. Gibbs knocks it down. Doesn't bother going after it. Gets a new ball from plate umpire Johnny Rice. 1 ball, 2 strikes. On the scoreboard, the sign says Bobby Mercer improved and hopes to play soon. Bobby realizes if he wants to win the batting crown, he's got to get back in there. Have 2 or 3 good days. There's a bouncing ball at third. Hansen gets the big hop. Fires to first in time, and there's 1 out. Now, Mercer must have been kidding me tonight, Frank. I went in the clubhouse and said, Bobby, you going to play? Oh, he says, yeah, I got to get in there. He says, I like to hit against Palmer, and all the while he wasn't in the starting lineup anyway.
Maybe he hadn't looked at it.
That's true. Here's Brooks Robinson, who's 2 for 2, singled and doubled. And he's played in every game that the Orioles have played this year. Bonson's pitch is strike 1 called, a good fastball knee high. One out, nobody on. Fastball swing and a miss, strike 2, 0-2. Baltimore out in front 3-1 here in the top of the 5th. On deck, Elrod Hendricks. The 2-strike delivery. A bouncer slowly to second. Clark comes in, has it. Easy toss to first, and there are 2 out. This is the New York Yankee Baseball Network. We pause now for station identification.
Duracell, the long-distance power cell, lasts longer than any ordinary battery. Duracell, made by Mallory. WMCA New York, Dialogue Radio 57, your New York Yankee station.
Hendricks is 2 for 2. He's singled to center twice, has driven in 1 run. Left-hand batter takes a pitch low, ball 1. On deck, Davy Johnson. Two out, nobody on. The 1-0 delivery, change up low, ball 2, 2-0. At the end of 4 now, it's Cincinnati 2 and the Dodgers 1. Giants still leading Houston 1-0 at the end of an inning and a half. Mickey Lolich, shutout through 7 innings up at Boston. That's something. There's a line drive base hit to right field for Hendricks, who is now 3 for 3. And these Orioles looks like they're all getting red hot just in time for the playoffs. That's 9 base hits for Baltimore. Davy Johnson is 1 for 2. He's fly to center and single to center. Two out. Johnny Ellis holds the bag against Hendricks. Bonson 6. Fastball right down the middle, strike 1 call. Stan looks in for the sign. Bloomberg playing very shallow in right field. Bonson comes to the belt. The changeup a little bit high at 1-1. One the count. Hendricks with a short lead off first. Curve a little bit high, ball 2. Two balls and a strike. Bonson checks the runner. Kicks, delivers, swing and a miss, and the count is even at 2-2. Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 out. Baltimore in front, 3-1, top of the 5th. Curve foul, just got a piece of it out in front of a breaking pitch. Davy Johnson has 17 home runs, 69 runs batted in. Still 2-2 on Johnson. Bonson's pitch low, and it's a full count. So Hendricks will be off with the pitch. On deck, Bobby Grich. Ready now for the payoff pitch. Hendricks goes. The ball is high and tight, and Davy Johnson goes down. Ball 4. Second walk given up by Bonson. And now Bobby Grich lying to center and trying to beat out a bunt with 2 strikes, bunted right back to the box. He picked a bad pitch to try and bunt on, high and tight, inside on him. Tried to drop it down third, couldn't get the bat down that way. It went right back to Bonson.
He finally wound up bunting in self-defense there to keep from being hit by it.
He almost was. It was right in on his chin. All right, one of the top Oriole ball players that they had down in the minor leagues. It's a high fly to deep left field. Roy White going over near the warning track, near the fence, and he can't get it. It's a 3-run homer. And Roy White hit the fence hard. Just as Roy got to the fence and reached over, he crashed into the fence. And we could see the ball bouncing in the seats, and Bobby Grich gets himself a 3-run homer, and Baltimore is now out in front 6-1. His first major league home run with 2 out and 2 on. And boy, I tell you, these Orioles, who have been really rough with all the talent they've got down on the farm, are going to look rough for many, many more years.
The first major league home run for Grich, even though he got up 95 times for the Orioles last year, he did not hit a home run.
He had, I think he led the International League in home runs this year. That's a pitch inside to Palmer, ball 1.
I think he had 32 during the regular season, if I'm not mistaken. And something like 7 or 8 more in the playoffs and Little World Series until he was called up.
Wow. Bouncing ball hit to short. Gene Michael one-hands it, his off-balance throw in time to get Palmer by half a step. Nice play by the stick, but after 2 are out, the Birds come up with 2 runs on 2 hits. No errors and nobody left. And check that, 3 runs on 2 hits. And the score at the end of 4.5, Baltimore 6, the Yankees 1.
Mickey Lolich is scheduled to pitch that Sunday afternoon. And he could have 26 wins by then, because his number is up there on the board for tonight's ball game. And how's he doing? He is leading 2-0 at the end of 7. Phil?
All right, Frank. Gene Michael up there takes a strike. Gene popped out to the shortstop first time up. Slow curve is high, 1-1. I tell you, that Lolich shuts out the Red Sox up in Fenway Park. A left-hander up in that park pitching a shutout. It will be something. There's a foul that might be playable. Hendricks digging back and makes a nice catch and would have fallen into the dugout, except that Earl Weaver and Ralph Salvan were there, the trainer for the Baltimore Orioles, to hold him. Nice play by Elrod Hendricks. That ball wasn't hit too high. Jimmy Lytle will bat for Stan Bonson. With 1 out, nobody on, and Baltimore in front, 6-1. We're in the bottom of the 5th inning. Pitch to Jimmy is high, ball 1. Swing and a miss, 1-1. Jimmy batting an even 200. As a pinch hitter, he is 1 for 16. 2 balls and a strike now to Lytle. Swing and a miss, strike 2. Good fastball by Palmer. Evens the count at 2-2. Horace Clark on deck. The 2-2 pitch, slow curve just outside. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Now the payoff pitch. Low, ball 4, and Lytle gets a walk. That's only the second walk given up by Jim Palmer. And it brings up Horace Clark. Horace fly to center. Was robbed of a base hit on an outstanding play by Davy Johnson at second base. Going far to his right, jumping high in the air and throwing while in the air. A strike to Boog Powell at first base. Lytle leads away. Pitch to Clark. Strike 1 call.
I don't think I've ever seen an infielder with both feet off the ground get any more on a throw than that one.
That was the amazing thing, how hard he threw the ball. Ground ball is short, could be 2. Gritch comes. Oh, he flipped it to Johnson. Throw to first. They got him, but that's something Bobby Gritch will have to contend with. He could have stepped on second and made the play easier himself. But Davy Johnson, as we told you, with those quick wrists, got rid of it in a hurry and just nipped Clark. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left. At the end of 5, it's the Birds 6 and the Yankees 1.
Every time you write a check, chances are it costs you money. Money for monthly service charges, or for per check charges, or both. Those checking charges can really add up. Well, at First National City Bank, you can write all the checks you want for just $1 a month with no minimum balance. $1 a month checking is part of our brand new combo plan. It combines our first-class checking with high-interest savings and valuable credit. To join the combo plan, all you do is keep $500 in a Golden Passbook account, where it earns high interest compounded daily, and also apply for Checking Plus, the service that lets you write yourself a loan. Then, write all the checks you want for just $1 a month. First National City's new combo plan. Join it now. First National City, the only bank your family ever needs. Member FDIC.
Rob Gardner comes on now to pitch for the New York Yankees. He'll be in his first game for the Yankees this year. With Oakland, Gardner got in 4 ball games, started 1, had no decision. No decisions. He pitched only 8 innings. Allowed 8 hits, 3 walks, struck out 5. Now, Rob Gardner now on the pitch. He's a left-hander. He came north with the Yankees and was cut on opening day up in Boston. Went back down to the minor league camp, and then shortly thereafter, he, along with Ron Klimkowski, were traded to the Oakland A's for Felipe Alou. Then later in the year, the Yankees got Gardner back in exchange for Kurt Blefary. So Gardner in his first game for the New York Yankees, he's a left-hander, and he'll be working to the top of the Baltimore batting order, Buford, Blair, and Powell. Stan Bonson went 5 innings, allowed 6 runs, 10 hits. He walked 2 and he struck out nobody. So now we'll see what the left-hander, Rob Gardner, can do, and the first thing he does is make Buford swing around and bat right-handed.
All right, Frank. Buford has bounced to first, single to left, and walked. So the left-hander, Rob Gardner, swings into the windup. His curveball is over, strike 1 call.
Asked Buford about hitting left-handed against the left-hand pitcher last night. He said, well, I just wanted to give you guys something to talk about. He said, you haven't used my name too much lately.
Pretty sharp. 1 ball, 1 strike. A 1-1 delivery. Low ball 2-1.
Buford has missed 34 ball games this year. 34 games the Orioles have played, he has not been in. He still leads the league in runs.
The 2-1 delivery, a curve swing and a miss, 2-2. He had a big cut at that breaking pitch. Nobody out, nobody on. Here's Gardner's 2-2 delivery. Fastball outside, and it's a full count, 3-2. And now the payoff pitch. Here it comes, and it's fouled back upstairs and out of play. Oh, Rob Gardner goes to the rosin bag. He goes with both hands, left hand, right hand, then rubs the ball up real well. Now goes again with the left hand. Gets on the rubber to take the sign. The 3-2 pitch is fouled, again out of play. Back into the seats down the right field line. I was quite impressed with Rob Gardner, the way he handled himself on one of the pregame interviews with you, Frank. Thought he did an excellent job.
He's very good at analyzing. He's got a keen baseball mind, I think.
That he does. Again, the 3-2 pitch. Looped into shallow right field. Clark back. Coming in, Bloomberg, and Clark makes the running catch going back. 1 away. It brings up Ball Blair, who had an infield hit, scored in the first inning, fly to center, and bounced to short. Gardner waits for Clark to get back in position. On deck, Big Boog Powell. Curve is outside, ball 1. A 1-0 pitch. Curve bounced to short. Michael is there. Up with it. A long throw in time to get Blair by a step. 2-away. And now Boog Powell had an upper-deck 2-run homer in the first inning, fly to center in the third, bounce to second in the fourth. Six to 1, Baltimore out in front in top of the 6th.
Get in here to the 6th.
Pitch to Powell. Strike one called on the outside corner. Gardner winds again. Sidearm curve a little bit low. 1-1. Right down the end of the bat. Slow curve, pulled foul outside of first.
All right, for all the Orioles in the clubhouse listening in, Boston has defeated Detroit 3-2. Final score. Boston scored 3 runs in the bottom half of the 8th inning, and the Orioles' magic number is now 2.
So, Mickey Lolich not only didn't get the shutout, he didn't get the win. So he's 25-12. That's a tough ballpark for anybody to pitch a shutout, especially a left-hander. A 1-2 pitch, low, and it's 2-2.
I'll tell you who did get the win in that ball game, Phil, was that young pitcher that was so impressive last year, was it, against the Yankees, Mike Garman. We saw him just one ball game, but he really threw the ball hard.
He only gave up 5 hits. Tatum relieved in the 9th. Curve swing and a miss, strike 3. So Gardner comes in, retires the Orioles in order. And at the end of 5.5, it's Baltimore 6, the Yankees 1.
One day, in 1840, a 3-masted schooner sailed into New York. On board was a young man from Wetzlar, Germany. He'd set sail with just $1 in his pocket and an old family recipe for a new kind of beer. His name was Maximilian Schaefer, and the beer he introduced to America was Schaefer Lager beer. It was aged or lagered for many weeks to give it a unique lightness and quality. Today, Schaefer is still unique, with flavor that never fades, first frosty glass to last. It's the one beer to have when you're having more than one.
Rob Gardner retired Buford, Blair, and Powell, 3 tough outs in order. And on the bottom half of the 6th inning, the Yankees come on with Jake Gibbs making his farewell appearance in Yankee Stadium. Felipe Alou and Roy White trying to get something started against Jim Palmer. He let Palmer, Phil, get by the first 2 or 3 innings. He gets awfully tough. Sometimes it takes him a couple of innings to get his back loosened up. He's had trouble with his back on and off for several years. But tonight, he seems pretty loose now.
He sure does. The first pitch to Jake is strike 1 call. Gibbs is fly to right and line to right. The 1-strike pitch, a curve lined on the left field line, and fair ball. That'll be extra bases for Gibbs. Jake will cruise into second base with a stand-up double. And he gets a big hand. And I know Jake would have loved to have had that his last time at bat at Yankee Stadium. He will get another turn at bat in this ball game. But at least in the last game he has played in Yankee Stadium as a Yankee in a regular league game, he is 1 for 3. Felipe Alou bounces one ashort. Rich up with it. Fires to first. Alou is out for the first time tonight. Felipe had doubled and singled. And that'll bring up Roy White, who has walked and flied to center. One out. 6-1. Baltimore out in front. Bottom of the 6th. Palmer sets. His curve is over. Strike 1 call. Palmer sets again. Curve is low this time. 1-1. Baltimore 10 hits, 6 runs. The Yankees 5 hits and 1 run. Stretch by the big right-hander. Fastball fouled back out of play. And Palmer doesn't like the feel of the baseball. Gets a new one. 1-2 the count on White. 1 out. Palmer kicks, delivers a fastball high. 2-2. Ronnie Bloomberg on deck. Bloomberg is 2 for 2. Jim Palmer going for his 19th win of the year. High and outside, and Palmer wants another new baseball. He has really been changing them tonight. Full count on Roy White with 1 out. Roy waving the bat. Palmer sets the payoff pitch, is fouled back and out of play. Hendricks starts back, but watches it come and hit on the screen. And Palmer changes a couple of more baseballs out there. One out. Gibbs leads off second. Fastball is low, ball 4. White walks for the second time. It's the third walk given up by Palmer, and it brings up Ronnie Bloomberg, who has singled a right twice and has driven in the 1 Yankee run. Bloomberg hitting .323. He has hit 2 good fastballs off Palmer. Let's see if Palmer works on him now with some breaking pitches. Runners at first and second. Curve is outside, ball 1. Jim Palmer gets the sign from Hendricks. Fastball swing and a miss. He had some cut at that one. 1-1. Bloomberg does not get cheated on his swings, that's for sure. White off first, Gibbs off second. Palmer stretches. Fastball swing, foul tip, held by the catcher. It's 1 ball, 2 strikes. First time up, Palmer got 2 quick strikes on Bloomberg. Tried to slip the fastball by him, and Ronnie's single to right. Ball, 2 strikes. Stretch by Palmer. Change up. Blocked nicely by Hendricks on the plate. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Six to 1, Baltimore leading in the bottom of the 6th. Big right-hander stretches. Fastball popped up. Palmer calls for it on the mound. They're going to let him take it. He does. The infield fly rule had been called. So Bloomberg was automatically out, but Palmer made an easy play out of it. He hit Ronnie right off the hand. Johnny Ellis lined back to the box and hit into a double play. All right, Gibbs Gibbs still at second. White at first. Pitch to Ellis. Swing and a miss. Strike one. He's throwing Johnny a lot of high fastballs, and Ellis is going after them. Palmer's next pitch, slow curve, low and outside, 1 mark. On deck, Ronnie Hansen. Stretch by Palmer. Outside with a slider, 2 balls and a strike. We're in the bottom of the 6th inning with 2 out. High and outside with a fastball, 3 and wide. Last night at this time, the game was almost over with Peterson and McNally going at it. There's a swing and a miss at a high fastball, and it's 3-2. Full count, so Gibbs at second. White at first will be off with the pitch. Palmer gets the sign. Steps back off the rubber, wants another one. Still looking in. Now he stretches. Whoa, hey, that's a balk. Yes, sir. For some reason, Johnson broke over to second, and Palmer spun around, ready to throw to first, but Boog Powell was deep at first, so Palmer commits a balk. And that's probably what confused Palmer. They're trying a lot of different things now, Baltimore, getting ready for the playoffs and possibly the World Series. They pulled a double steal against the Yankees last night with runners at first and third. And that looked like a trick play as Davy Johnson broke towards second. Evidently, Boog Powell was supposed to break towards first. And everybody thinking that the pitcher's going to wheel around and throw to second, and suddenly he throws to first, except that nobody was covering first. So it's a balk. White now at second, Gibbs at third, and the payoff pitch to Ellis. Struck on out. He went after a pitch over his head. Ellis is struck out on a real bad pitch. Only the second strikeout for Palmer. No runs, a hit, no errors, 2 men left. And at the end of 6 full innings, it's Baltimore 6, the Yankees 1.
The Washington Senators lead the Cleveland Indians 3-2 at the end of 7 1/2. Vince Colbert is pitching for Cleveland. Bill Gogolewski started for Washington with Joe Grisenda in relief in the 8th inning. Milwaukee at Minnesota was rained out. Boston edged Detroit 3-2. Mike Garland, the winner, 1-0. A save for Ken Tatum, and Mickey Lolich, the loser, 25-12. With that loss, the Orioles' magic number is now 2. Chicago at Oakland and Kansas City at California later starts. The Chicago Cubs this afternoon defeated the New York Mets 4-1. Bill Hands, the winner, 12-18, and Gary Gentry, the loser, 12-11. Philadelphia and Montreal are scoreless at the end of 4 1/2. Rick Wise against Bill Stoneman. San Francisco won, Houston won at the end of 3 innings. Juan Marichal pitching for San Francisco. Houston has used Richards, Culver, and Griffin so far in the ballgame. Cincinnati 4, Los Angeles 1 at the end of 6 1/2. Bill Singer started for the Dodgers. Brewer in the 6th, and Gary Nolan so far has got all the way for Cincinnati, leading 4-1 at the end of 6 1/2. Pittsburgh won, St. Louis won at the end of 1 1/2 as the Pirates try to cinch their division. Luke Walker against Bob Gibson there. And it is San Diego 7, Atlanta 2 at the end of 6 innings. Acosta for San Diego. Jarvis started for Atlanta, House in the 6th. Gaston, Mason, and Colbert have homered for San Diego, while Ralph Garr has homered for Atlanta. So those are the scores of other ball games. Right now we're ready for action in the 7th inning of our game here at Yankee Stadium. Baltimore 6 runs, 10 hits. Yankees 1 run, 5 hits. Frank Robinson in against Rob Gardner. The left-hander winds, and here's his first pitch. Fastball is lined to left field, base hit. Roy White racing over to the corner to cut it off, and Frank Robinson is going for 2. Here comes the throw. There goes Robinson, and he is safe at second base. He goes in standing up at second base and beats the throw from left field. Two-base hit for Frank Robinson. This is the New York Yankee Baseball Network. We pause for station identification.
Hi, I'm Barry Gray, and I'm still on Dialogue Radio 57. WMCA New York, every night from 11 p.m. until 1 a.m. with distinguished guests. Please join me.
Brooks Robinson steps in with Frank Robinson at second and takes ball one high. The double was Frank Robinson's 126th base hit and his 15th two-bagger. Rob Gardner looks back over the left shoulder for him, and the pitch to Brooks popped up. Shallow right center field. Clark is going back. Bloomberg is coming in. Clark calls for it, and the Hoss makes the catch. One out. Elrod Hendricks now 3 for 3. Bill White, it looks like these left-hand hitters, Hendricks and Powell, are getting real hot here just in time for the Orioles American League Championship Series.
Yes, they are, and of course they'll need that left-handed hitting because, let's see, after Blue, all the right-handed, all the Oakland clubs' pitchers are right-handed.
Hendricks swings in the first one, grounds it foul down the right side. Ball bouncing on toward right field, and the count is 0-1. I believe Hendricks cracked the bat on that one. He goes back for another one. So the Orioles, let's see how they have fared against right and left-handers. They keep that statistic. I'm not sure they do. 0-1 pitch to Hendricks. Down low for a ball. Yeah, there it is. Against right-handers, they're 67-38. Against left-handers, 26-19. The Orioles a stronger ball club against right-hand pitching. This ball is lined down the right side, and it's a foul ball in the seats. It's a fair ball. And bounces in the seats. I beg your pardon, it's a ground rule double. The ball hit just inside fair territory and bounced into the seats for a two-base hit. In to score from second base comes Frank Robinson, and Baltimore leads 7-1. Elrod Hendricks has his 4th straight base hit in the ballgame. And he also has his 2nd run batted in. Dave Johnson now 1 for 2. First pitch to Johnson, foul back. Elrod Hendricks has added 10 points tonight, going from 242 to 252. No balls and a strike to Dave Johnson. Fly to center his first time, then singled, and then walked. He has scored 1 run. Gardner deals, and the pitch is foul back to the seats over on the first base side of the ballpark. No balls and 2 strikes. You know, strangely enough, certain left-handers give Frank Robinson more trouble than most right-handers do.
Well, especially, I would say, a left-hander with a good fastball and a good slider that can ride that slider in on his fist. Frank really doesn't like the ball inside with smoke on it, but you've got to keep it in there.
Johnson takes low for a ball. It's 1-2.
Hard for a right-hander to turn a ball over and still get the good fastball to ride in on Robinson. But a left-hander can cut it, and it'll glide in on him. But you better be in there.
1-2 pitch. Changeup is over but high. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Bobby Grich is on deck. Rob Gardner, in relief of Stan Bonson, has given up his first run. Down low this time for a full count of 3-2. Orioles now 7 runs, 12 hits. The Yankees 1 run, 5 hits. Payoff pitch. Hit in the air to left field. Roy White comes in a few steps. Camps under it now. Glove up, and he makes the catch. Hendricks goes back to second base. There are 2 down. And it brings up Bobby Gritch. Fly to center his first time. Bunted back to the pitcher in the third and was thrown out. And then he hit a 3-run homer in the fifth, his first major league home run. He's a right-hand batter. Hendricks at second, 2 outs, and the pitch. Curveball is in for a called strike. The pitcher, Jim Palmer, is on deck. Stretched by Gardner. He looks back and now deals. Low and outside. 1-1. Next pitch. Low and away. Ball 2. Unless the Yankees rally in the late innings and come back to win this ball game, they will be 3 games behind the Boston Red Sox. Red Sox winning tonight. Gardner takes the side, ready to deal to Bobby Gritch. Here it comes. Curve is swung on and missed. Strike 2. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Gritch steps away. Now back in, scratches away with his right foot. Digs a little toe hold. Waiting, he bends way over from the waist, and he takes a pitch low and away, ball 3. Full count again. Gritch stands well away from the plate. Just a slightly closed stance. And then bends way over at the waist. And the pitch to him. Low and outside, ball 4. Gritch walks, and there are runners at first and second. First base on balls given up by Rob Gardner. And now Jim Palmer, the pitcher. Palmer gets a scattering of applause from some of the folks here at Yankee Stadium. Palmer has hit the ball 3 times to Gene Michael, twice on the ground, once in the air. He's 0 for 3. And Gardner's breaking pitch is over on Palmer. Strike 1. L. Ron Hendricks at second. Bobby Gritch at first. 1 run across here in the top of the 7th. The Orioles leading 7-1. The look back by Gardner. He deals. Swung on and missed. Palmer swung over the top of that ball. Don Buford, the left fielder, is on deck. Runners edge away. Hendricks from second. Gritch from first. And Gardner's 0-2 pitch. Hit in the air out into right field. Ronnie Bloomberg is there, waiting under it. Glove up. He makes the catch. And the side is retired. The Orioles come up with 1 run on 2 hits. There were no errors and 2 men left. At the end of 6.5, the score, Baltimore 7 and New York 1.
The real thing.
I got into baseball when I was about 2 years old. My father started pitching raisins to me in the living room, and from then on I started pitching, and I pitched for the New York Yankees. My name is Fritz Peterson.
It's the real thing.
When the fans are yelling, and I'm the pitcher, it kind of makes me bear down a little bit more on the hitter. I know there's a little more incentive to get him out.
People wanna buy life's good things. See what real life can bring. It's go for the taste of your life.
When it's real hot, kind of superstitious, I won't take a drink of anything until after the 5th inning. And then I go in and ask the trainer to bring out a Coke, and during each inning I have a sip of Coca-Cola.
The world wants today, it's the real thing. Coca-Cola is Coke.
Baltimore leading 7-1. The Yankees will send in Ronnie Hansen, Gene Michael, And then perhaps a pinch hitter for the pitcher, Rob Gardner. Baltimore has 7 runs on 12 hits. The Yankees 1 run on 5. Baltimore's been mashing Frank Messer.
Yes, they have been. Ron Hansen leads it off. Takes a strike on the inside corner, a fastball from Jim Palmer. Hansen has popped this short and flied to right. Gene Michael on deck. Hansen looks at a low outside pitch, and the count evens 1-1. Baltimore with 12 base hits in the ball game, leading 7-1. Palmer whips it to the plate, low and away. 2 balls and a strike. And the 2-1 delivery. Line down the right field line, and it is a foul ball. In the seats, but a foul ball. Well, fall arrives tomorrow morning. They call it, the autumnal equinox. You can feel a nip of fall in the air tonight.
What was that again?
The autumnal equinox. Ball is hit by Hansen on the ground to short. Rich is up with it, throws to Powell. He is tagged out. Powell left the bag coming toward the plate to take the throw and tagged Hansen as he went by. That's right.
All right. I'm not going to question you. I don't know what you said.
Gene Michael up there batting left-handed against Palmer. Takes low and away, ball 1. Michael has popped up twice. Once to the shortstop, once to the catcher Hendricks in foul territory. 1-0 pitch. Hit on the ground, right back to Palmer. Pitcher flags it down, throws to first. Michael is out. And now Rusty Torres will come on to bat for Rob Gardner. And when fall arrives, it's the autumnal equinox. And when spring arrives, it's the vernal equinox, I believe.
How do you spell equinox?
E-Q-U-I-N-O-X.
Oh, that's all right. Equinox. Nox means what? Night in Spanish?
I don't know. You got to take it from there. I got you this far. Now you take it.
No, you don't.
Pitch is up high to Rusty Torres, and here's a final score. Bill Kane has just handed us. Cincinnati has defeated the Los Angeles Dodgers 4-1 on a 5-hitter by Gary Nolan. Torres swings on the pitch and fouls it back 1-1. And San Francisco has gone out in front of Houston 2-1 at the end of 5 behind Juan Marichal. Bobby Bonds hit his 32nd home run for the lead run in the ballgame. Torres swings, pops it up out near second base. Rich and Johnson both there. Johnson calls for it right near the bag, and he makes the catch. The Orioles throw the ball around the infield in the Pepper game, but that was the 3rd out. Well, getting down to the last 10 days or so of the season. That was the 3rd out. Nobody left the field except for Frank Robinson in right and the pitcher, Jim Palmer, as the Orioles started whipping the ball around the infield. But the side is retired. 3 up, 3 down, nothing across. End of 7. It's Baltimore 7 and New York 1.
So how would you like to boast that the car you're driving won the treacherous East African Safari? It's quite a conversation piece, and it's a Datsun. The 510 four-door sedan has won the helter-skelter 3,200-mile run for the past 2 years. And you can buy the exact same Datsun at your nearby Metropolitan New York Datsun dealer. Besides being good for openers, the Datsun four-door sedan is a kick to drive. It's roomy enough for 4, has fully reclining front bucket seats, and most important is its race-winning combination of a 96-horsepower overhead cam engine, fully independent rear suspension, and front disc brakes. And all synchro 4-speed stick shift is optional. No, that's standard. 3-speed automatic, that's optional. One more thing, you can also brag about the great deal you made, because the Datsun four-door sedan comes completely equipped. You don't pay anything extra for a fully carpeted, all vinyl upholstery, tinted glass, or even a white wall. And you'll save money on gas with as much as 25 miles per gallon. See the small car expert, your nearby Datsun dealer. Drive a Datsun, then decide.
Don Buford is set to lead off for Baltimore here, and we have Pittsburgh now leading St. Louis 2-1. Pittsburgh trying to clinch, leading 2-1 at the end of 4. Walker against Gibson. Buford goes after the first pitch offered by Steve Klein. Working in relief of Rob Gardner, Steve Klein. Young right-hander. Making his first relief appearance this year after 30 starts. He misses low for a ball. It's 1-1. Does Steve have military this weekend, Bill? 1-1 pitch. Low and outside. Well, Steve Klein with Army duty coming up this weekend, getting some work in here. Don Buford has grounded out to first, single to left, walked, and popped up. So he's 1 for 3 in the ballgame. Batting left-handed now, and the pitch. Hit on the ground, right side. Horace Clark is up with it at second. Spins and throws to Ellis in plenty of time. That's all for Buford, and there's one away here in the top of the 8th inning. Rob Gardner pitched 2 innings, gave up 1 run on 2 hits. He walked 1, and he struck out 1.
This is Steve Klein's first relief appearance of the season.
Paul Blair now has gone 1 for 4. Blair singled to deep short in the first inning and came in to score on Boog Powell's home run. He hits the ball off the end of the bat. It's a foul ball down the first base line. Hugged the chalk line about 3/4 of the way down there, and then twisted foul.
9-6.
Boog Powell is on deck. Steve Klein, right-hander, winds, kicks and deals. Blair lines it, and it's over Michael's glove and a left field base hit. Gene Michael went up in the air for it, but couldn't reach it. Ball gets through Michael and Clark, but John Ellis backs up the ball on the infield and holds Blair at first base.
Well, Frank, Rochester didn't miss Bobby Grich too much. They beat Denver tonight 9-6. So Rochester wins the Little World Series 4-3 over Denver.
Well, the Orioles have some good news down in their farm. That's their top farm club, Rochester Red Wings. Paul Blair leads away at first. Powell steps in. He's 1 for 4, the home run. The first pitch to him, low and outside, ball 1. Powell homered in the first inning off Stan Bonson. Bonson gave up 6 runs on 10 hits. The Orioles now have 13 base hits and lead 7-1. Quick throw to first base. Blair gets back. One on with 1 gone. Powell feet close together. Down on the end of the bat, waiting. And the pitch. Swung on. There it goes again. This one is way, way, way back, and it is in the Yankee bullpen. Powell's second home run of the ball game, and his 21st of the year. You know, Bill White, when that big man is hot with a bat, it's almost unbelievable.
He can get it out there. I tell you, that ball, the Dotson was saved out there by Roger Ambright. He caught the ball in the air, and that was some kind of hit there. That ball went a long way out there in the Yankee bullpen.
Now Frank Robinson, he's 1 for 4. He swings on the first pitch and bounces it into the Oriole dugout, foul ball. Boog Powell's 21st home run of the year, giving him 4 runs batted in tonight, and 87 RBIs for the season. Klein winds and deals to Frank Robinson. There it goes again, this time to left field, and this ball is in the mezzanine foul, a foul ball. Just foul as Ron Luciano, third base umpire, went down the line to watch it. Billy Hunter, the third base coach, was also right on the line to watch the flight of the ball. Back up in the mezzanine, but foul. Well, the Orioles long balling tonight. Frank Robinson checks his swing on a low outside pitch. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Frank Robinson leads the Orioles in home runs. He has 27. He also leads them in runs batted in with 96. Low fastball evens the count at 2-2. Bends for his sign, arms high, delivers over but low. Ball 3 and a full count to Frank Robinson. Brooks Robinson is on deck. Base is empty, 1 out. Klein winds and delivers. Low, ball 4. Frank Robinson walks. Fourth walk given up by Yankee pitching. And here comes Brooks Robinson. He has a single and a double to show for 4 times at bat. He has scored 1 run. Klein working on the stretch and delivers. Pitch is hit back up the middle, base hit. Past Gene Michael out into left center field. Frank Robinson around second, digging for third. Throw comes in from Felipe Alou to second base, and the Orioles have runners on the corners. Brooks Robinson is now 3 for 5. Elrod Hendricks now looking for his 5th base hit. He has 3 singles and a double. He's batted in a couple of runs. Swings on the first run, golfs it foul down the first baseline. No balls, 1 strike. Frank Robinson at third. Brooks Robinson at first. And the 0-1 pitch. Swung on and missed. Looked like he might have gone for an inside pitch. No balls, 2 strikes. The on-deck hitter is Dave Johnson. And the 0-2 pitch to Hendricks. Outside. Ball, 2 strikes. The runners lead away. Set by Steve Klein. The pitch to Hendricks. Hit on the ground to first base. It's a foul ball off his foot. Got him on the foot first. That's going to bring Earl Weaver and the trainer Ralph Salvon out. Fouled it right down on his right instep, so it appears. Matter of concern now to Earl Weaver. He doesn't want his left-hand hitting catcher getting banged up. Especially after Bill White, he talked about all those right-hand Oakland pitchers.
You know, I don't see how Ellie can hit his ankle anyway. They're not that big.
He seems to be okay. Salvon stays there. Weaver's gone back to the dugout. I guess Weaver figures there's not much he can do to help. And now Salvon goes back. Ball and 2 strikes to Elrod Hendricks. Hendricks has had both his legs broken several times, I believe.
Really? By foul tips?
No, got run over by a car, I think, once, and it got both of them.
No,
now they've called a balk on Steve Klein, and that will bring Frank Robinson home. Klein started his move and broke it. Frank Robinson comes home on the balk, and Brooks Robinson goes to second.
It's odd you see 2 balks in a ball game.
It is very odd to see two in a ball game. You may not see two all year, really. Ball and 2 strikes. Brooks Robinson at second, and the pitch is swung on and missed. Strike 3. Bill Hendricks goes down swinging. The first strikeout for Klein. And with 2 outs, it brings up Dave Johnson, the second baseman. He is 1 for 3. Fly to center, single to center, walked, and fly to left. Baltimore now leading 10-1. Run number 10 crossing on the balk. Charge to Steve Klein. Earlier, Jim Palmer was called for balking. Breaking pitch is hit in the air to center field. Felipe Alou walks under it, waiting for it to come down, and that's the 3rd out. But the Orioles add 3 more runs on 3 base hits. There were no Yankee errors and 1 man left. And at the end of 7.5 innings, the score is Baltimore 10 and the Yankees 1.
One beer to have when you're having more than one. Schaefer, pleasure doesn't pay even when the first has gone.
There's really just one way to find out if Schaefer really is a 1 beer to have when you're having more than one. And that's to try a couple of cold glasses. Taste for yourself the unique quality of Schaefer. Flavor that doesn't fade beer after beer. You'll discover that Schaefer actually stays first beer smooth, first beer bright, first frosty glass to last. And that's when you'll agree.
Schaefer is the 1 beer to have when you're having more than one.
Frank Messer, looks like manager Earl Weaver of the Baltimore club has his club in pretty good shape. As you mentioned earlier, the big first baseman Powell has started swinging the bat well. Hendricks is coming on with the bat. And it looks like they'll go into that Oakland, providing they win over here, of course, in the East. They'll go into the Oakland series in good shape.
All right, Horace Clark leads off the bottom half of the 8th inning. Hoss is 0 for 3. Fly to center was robbed by Dave Johnson in the 3rd inning and then grounded into a double play to the shortstop Gritch. Count evens up now 1-1. Jim Palmer working quickly. Delivers again, and Clark is out in front of the pitch. Strike 2. Ball and 2 strikes. Jim Palmer can sort of smell his 19th win with a 9-run lead. Working very, very quickly. He'll deal 1 and 2 to Clark. Here comes the pitch, and it is fouled back upstairs to the left side. One thing Earl Weaver would certainly like to do is get some rest for Frank Robinson before the American League Championship Series. 1-2 delivery inside. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Sure, he'd also like to rest Brooks Robinson a couple of days. Clark goes for the changeup, hits it in the air, foul down the left side, and the ball is out of play, about a row deep in the seats. 3 men converging on it. Buford from left, the shortstop Gritch, and the 3rd baseman Brooks Robinson, but the ball fell out of reach. Jake Gibbs is on deck. Clark hits the ball on the ground to second. Dave Johnson is up with it. The throw to first base in plenty of time to Powell. 1 away. This is the New York Yankee Baseball Network. We pause now for station identification.
Hi, I'm Fred Gale, and I'm on Dialogue Radio 57, WMCA, New York, Monday through Friday from 1 to 4 p.m., Sundays from 3 to 6 p.m. Tune in. Call me at Plaza 9, 1000.
A standing ovation for Jake Gibbs. Probably his last at bat at Yankee Stadium. Fans still on their feet as the pitch comes in for a called strike. They're still standing, a lot of them. And the pitch is high and away, 1-1. Gibbs hits the ball on the ground, right side. Powell is up with it, turns around, throws to Palmer. Gibbs is out. And in what probably will be his last at bat, there's another ovation for him. Doug Gibbs in this ball game winds up 1 for 4 unless the Yankees have a big rally and he comes to bat again. His base hit a double to left field. Now Felipe Alou steps in with 2 outs. Felipe is 2 for 3 and the pitch is low, ball 1. He takes a strike this time, and the count is evened up at 1-1. Jim Palmer deals again. Felipe hits the ball on the ground at shortstop. Rich has it. The throw to first base. Alou is out, and the side is retired. 3 ground balls, and the Yankees go out in order. Nothing across at the end of 8 to score. Baltimore 10 and New York 1.
Well, the score here 10-1. Yankees down by 9. Jake Gibbs just looks like, at least, that he's had his last at-bat here in Yankee Stadium as a Yankee. The Yankees will leave and go play Detroit this weekend. They'll play 3 games there. They're off on Monday the 27th, and then end the season in Washington against the Washington Senators. And they'll play 3 night games down there. Gibbs, looking at Jerry, we mentioned he signed with the Yankees back in 1961. And he's been a Yankee over 10 years, been in the Yankee organization. His best year, 1970. And Jake at bat 153 times, 46 hits, 8 home runs, 26 runs batted in. He hit 300. So Jake Gibbs leaves the Yankees, and he'll go down to Mississippi as the baseball coach and also chief football recruiter.
Roger Hambright comes on to pitch the 9th inning for the Yankees. Steve Klein pitches 1 inning. Gave up 3 runs, 2 hits, walked 1, and struck out 1. 3 runs on 3 hits. Walked 1, struck out 1. Roger Hambright, a record of 3-1. He has 2 saves. He's making his 17th appearance. Manager Ralph Halk has given this young right-hander a pretty good look since he called him up from Manchester.
He's, Roger throws strikes. I think from up here, Frank, it seems that he will have to come up with another pitch. He has the fastball and the breaking ball. And he'll probably, if he doesn't go with another pitch, he'll have to hold the fastball off seam and make it sink or do something. He has had trouble once in a while giving up the long ball, and that's because I think basically he can throw hard, but the fastball is straight. So they'll work on Roger to get him another pitch or to make that fastball move a little bit.
Okay, Bill. Bobby Grich will test him right here, and he gets the fastball over for a strike. Grich has gone 1 for 3. His 1 hit was a home run. Next pitch is taken low and outside. 1-1. Rich, right-hand batter. Hambright pumps, kicks, and deals. Breaking ball is swung on and missed. A ball and 2 strikes. Hambright, 5'10", 190 pounds. 22 years old, from the state of Washington. He brings it, and it is swung on and fouled at the feet of Gibbs. Count holds at a ball and 2 strikes. This is only the 4th year of professional ball for Hambright. Broke in at Johnson City in the Rookie League in 1968. The Appalachian League, really, but it is a Rookie League. Rich hits this pitch in the air to right center field. Cruising under it, Felipe Alou, the center fielder. He puts it away. That's all for Grich, 1 out, and it brings up the pitcher, Jim Palmer. Palmer is 0 for 4. Palmer, after the first pitch, hits a fly ball into right field. Ronnie Bloomberg gallops in and makes the catch, and there are 2 down. And now the top of the order, Don Buford. Buford has 1 hit in 4 at-bats. He has also had a walk. He takes a little time getting set in the batter's box. Picks up some dirt, now steps back out, in again, fidgets around, giving Palmer time to get back and settle down on the bench. Now Hambright's pitch to him, fouled into the Oriole dugout, goes in and bounces back out again. Half swing. Strike 1. Buford lays the bat flat down on his left shoulder waiting for the pitch. Takes it low and inside. 1-1. Bill looks sort of like he's tired up there until he swings that bat, and there's nothing tired about his swing. Hambright turns it loose, and he swings and misses at a pitch bearing in on him. A ball and 2 strikes.
That cuts down on hitching, Frank, when he lays that bat up there. If he'd hold it out, he must have had trouble with pumping a bat. If you lay it up there like that, you don't hitch.
1-2 pitch to him. Bounced it off his foot. Foul.
Remember, a lot of batting coaches, Dixie Walker, Harry Walker's brother, who is now the batting coach for the Dodgers. He tells a lot of hitters to do this. Lee May, who played here for the White Sox, he became a better hitter when he started just laying the bat on his shoulder. Adolfo Phillips, the same thing.
Hambright's 1-2 pitch. Changeup is swung on and missed. He really pulled the string on it. Had Buford way out in front. So Hambright gets the side in order with 1 strikeout, nothing across. At the end of the top half of the 9th inning, the score is now Baltimore 10 and the Yankees 1.
Good humor for 51 years, the Cream of Ice and ice cream products. Well, after tonight's game, the Yankees only have 6 more, 3 in Detroit, and then 3 night games down in Washington. Let's go with the pitching for the upcoming Detroit series. Opening at, Tuesday night, or opening Thursday night. Friday night will be Mel Stottlemyre. Stottlemyre's won 15 and lost 11, and he'll be opposed by Joe Coleman. Coleman is 18-9. Then Maya Ralph will start Mike Kekich on Saturday. Kekich has won 10 and lost 8. Billy Martin is undecided. So I suppose, Frank Messer, that undecided will be that left-hander Kilkenny, huh?
Probably will be.
And then on Sunday, Fritz Peterson, who's won 14 and lost 13, will go against Mickey Lolich. Mickey Lolich pitched tonight, and Boston beat the Detroit Tigers 3-2, but Lolich has won 25 ball games.
You know, it's a funny thing that Billy Martin won't tell Kilkenny when he's going to start. Kilkenny's got to have an idea. Billy fooled him one time by having him pitch batting practice one night and then starting him the next night. Roy White leads off for the Yankees in the bottom half of the 9th inning. First pitch is low, ball 1. Ronnie Bloomberg is on deck. White takes high this time. 2 balls and no strikes. Jim Palmer is 3 outs away from pitching his 19th complete game. Next pitch to White, taken for a strike. 2-1 to Roy. There's one, rocked just foul outside of first. Sharply at ball. Just foul. White swings at this one. It's at fair. Ground ball to Powell. Big first baseman is up with it. Races to the bag in time to get White. 1 away and Ron Bloomberg. Bloomer is 2 for 3. Single twice to right field, and then he popped up to the pitcher. Last time up, Palmer fisted him with a fastball, and he popped it right back to the Baltimore pitcher. Curveball is hit on the ground to first base, a foul ball. Powell got to it, knocked it down, but the ball was foul. One. Palmer's next pitch. Line to right field. Base hit number 3 for Bloomberg. Clothesliner to right field, and Bloomberg is 3 for 4. Base hit number 6 for the Yankees. Palmer had retired 8 in a row since White walked in the 6th inning. Bloomberg is now batting .325, and John Ellis steps in at the plate. Palmer's pitch to Ellis. Curveball is outside. Ellis is 0 for 3. With the Senators moving down to the Arlington, Texas, Bill, I wonder if the Orioles will be pressured to play some games in Washington. Foul ball back, just off the hands. Half swing by Ellis. He tried to check it.
Well, that's what President Nixon wants, isn't it? He wants Baltimore to come down there and play 20 or 30 ball games. There's also been talk, Frank, of each club coming in and playing one game there.
Fastball is hit on the ground to third. It's a foul ball. Ted Williams felt that would be a good idea. We were talking to him about it when the Senators were in here the last time. He said he'd like to see interleague play. He said he'd like to see every team in baseball go into Washington and play. 1-2 pitch. Breaking ball misses, 2-2.
Well, there's also talk of perhaps Washington trying to lure the San Francisco Giants out of San Francisco. There's a lot of rumors going around. Giants might draw in Washington.
Pitch is in the dirt. Bounces up to Elrod Hendricks. Full count, 3-2.
Well, they're splitting attendance out there with Oakland.
And Palmer's payoff pitch, foul back. A fastball, foul back toward the upper deck. Three-two again. Swung on and missed, strike 3. The fourth strikeout for Palmer. Two down and Ron Hansen the batter. He's popped up, fly to right, and grounded out to short. Swings in the first one, fouls it back just to our left. Nothing in 1. Bloomberg at first, 2 down. Curveball is over the outside corner for a strike 2 call. Nothing in 2. Palmer ready again and brings it. Cut on, hit on the ground, a shortstop. Up with a Gritch. He flips to Johnson at second base. They force Bloomberg, and the ball game is over. So in the 9th inning for the Yankees, no runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 1 man is left on base. And Jim Palmer, who was given the ball after the final out, tosses it to a fan in the stands, one of the youngsters down there near the Baltimore dugout. So that's the ball game, and now Bill White, you got the totals and the recap.
All right, Frank Messer, the ball game actually was decided in the first inning when Boog Powell hit his 20th home run into the upper deck in right field with Paul Blair on. They give Baltimore a 2-0 lead. The Yankees did pick up 1 run in their half of the first as Alou doubled with 2 outs. White walked, and then Ronnie Bloomberg singled to right field. But that's the last Yankee to touch the plate as Baltimore picked up a run in the 3rd inning on a double by Brooks Robinson and a single by Ellie Hendricks. And they picked up 3 more runs in the 5th inning as Hendricks walked. Hendricks singled to right field. Davey Johnson walked, and Bobby Gritch hit his first Major League home run with 2 men on, a 3-run shot into the left field seats just out of Roy White's reach. And Baltimore had a 6-1 lead. They added 1 more in the 7th and 3 more in the 8th to make the final score Baltimore 10, the Yankees 1. one bright spot for the Yankees. Let's see, the right fielder, Ron Blomberg, with 3 singles out of 4 trips against a tough right-handed pitcher, David Johnson. So Blomberg 3 for 4. The rundown, Baltimore 10 runs on 15 hits and no errors. The Yankees 1 run on 6 hits and no errors. The winning pitcher, Palmer, he has now won 19 ball games and lost 9. The loser, Stan Bonson, who has won 14 and lost 11. Well, that's it from Yankee Stadium. I'm Bill White along with Frank Messer. And for Phil Rizzuto, the final score again, Baltimore 10, the Yankees 1. Thanks for tuning in. We're coming on with Yankee baseball again Friday night from Detroit. Game time 8:55. Tonight's game was brought to you by Schaefer Breweries, New York, Albany, New York, and Baltimore, Maryland. Remember, Schaefer is the one beer to have when you're having more than one. And by First National City, the only bank your family ever needs. And by the Coca-Cola Bottling Company of New York, Incorporated. It's the real thing, Coke. And by Good Humor. It's what the world needs more of. And by the Small Car Experts, your nearby New York, New Jersey, and Fairfield County Datsun dealer, who asks before you buy any new car, drive a Datsun, then decide. Now stay tuned for Frank Messer, coming up next on WMCA 570, New York.
Introducing a new improved Duracell that not only lasts far longer than any ordinary battery, but a Duracell that lasts far longer than the former Duracell, anywhere from 20 to 25% longer. So if you think last year's Duracell gave your radios and tape recorders and cameras a run for the money, wait till you try the new Duracell. You'll get more flashes from your flash camera, more film running through your movie camera, even more reliable long playing hours from your radios and tape recorders. Try the new Duracell in your flashlights and kids' toys, too. You'll be amazed at how much longer they last. Dura, as in durable. Cell, as in power cell. The new Duracell, made by Mallory. It lasts far, far longer than any ordinary battery.
Duracell, the long-distance power cell, is available at master stores and wherever batteries are sold.
Y-A-N-K-E-E-S. Here come the Yankees. Let's get behind the cheerleader. Yankees, they're gonna learn to feel it.
Good evening once again, ladies and gentlemen. This is Frank Messer at Yankee Stadium with my Yankee wrap-up. And the Baltimore Orioles long-balled the Yankees again here tonight and won the ball game by a final score of 10-1. Jim Palmer went all the way for his 19th win. And the Yankee starter Stan Bonson was the losing pitcher. As we said, the Orioles long-balled the Yankees, and they started off in the very first inning after Don Buford grounded out to first baseman John Ellis unassisted. Paul Blair beat out a hit to deep in the shortstop hole. Gene Michael made a desperation throw for toward first base, but not in time to get him. And with one out and Paul Blair at first base, Boog Powell, who started swinging a hot bat in this Yankee series, stepped in, and here is Bill White with the play.
Here's the 0-2 pitch to him. Curveball driven deep to right field. That ball is going. That's in the upper deck. Baltimore leads 2-0.
Yes, an 0-2 pitch to Powell, and he really put the wood to it, putting Baltimore out in front 2-0. And as it turned out, those were the only 2 runs that Jim Palmer needed. But Palmer got more runs in his behalf. The Yankees came back in the bottom half of the first and scored once. With 2 outs, Felipe Alou doubled to right field, Roy White threw a walk, and Ron Blomberg singled to right field, driving in the Yankees' only run of the ball game. It was the first of 3 base hits for Ron Blomberg, who wound up the night going 3 for 4. Baltimore got that run back in the third with 2 outs. Brooks Robinson doubled to left field. Elrod Hendricks brought him home with a single to center. And in the 5th inning, again, the Orioles started scoring after 2 men were out. Frank Robinson and Brooks Robinson grounded out. Elrod Hendricks singled to right field, his 3rd hit of the ball game. He wound up 4 for 5. Then a walk to Dave Johnson. And with runners at first and second, the batter was the rookie, Bobby Grich. And Phil Rizzuto has this call.
It's a high fly to deep left field. Roy White going over near the warning track, near the fence. And he can't get it. It's a 3-run homer. And Roy White hit the fence hard. Just as Roy got to the fence and reached over, he crashed into the fence. And we could see the ball bouncing in the seats, and Bobby Grich gets himself a 3-run homer, and Baltimore is now out in front 6-1.
It was Grich's first home run in the major leagues. It went with, I believe, 39 he hit in the International League earlier this year. The Orioles got another run in the 7th, and they wound up the scoring in the 8th inning. With 1 out in the 8th, Paul Blair singled into left field, and as we said, Boog Powell in this series had the real hot bat. He came up for his 5th time in the ball game. He had homered with a man on in the 1st, then went out the next 3 times, but it was a different story in the 8th inning against Steve Klein. And the pitch. Swung on. There it goes again. This one is way, way, way back, and it is in the Yankee bullpen. Powell's second home run of the ball game, and his 21st of the year. The Orioles scored once more, this one on a balk by Steve Klein, and that was the end of the scoring, Baltimore winning it 10-1. And it was a night of nostalgia here at Yankee Stadium to some extent. Jake Gibbs, who first signed with the Yankees in 1961 after being an All-American football and a baseball player at the University of Mississippi, was playing his last home game. The Yankee catcher flied to right field in the 1st inning, lined out to Frank Robinson in right field in the 3rd. In the 6th, though, he got his final Yankee Stadium base hit, and Phil Rizzuto gives you the call.
A 1-strike pitch, a curve lined on the left field line, and fair ball. That'll be extra bases for Gibbs. Jake will cruise into second base with a stand-up double. And he gets a big hand.
Okay, Jake got a big hand for it, and when he came to bat for his last time, the folks here, of course, knew it. That was in the 8th inning. He grounded out Powell at first base to the pitcher, Palmer, covering. But again, he got a standing ovation from the folks here at the stadium. So the Baltimore Orioles won the ball game by a final score of 10-1, and the Orioles had thus won seasons play between these two clubs, winning 11 of the 18 games. Yankees won 7 and lost 11 to Baltimore this year. Looking at ball games elsewhere, the Oriole magic number is now down to 1 because the Detroit Tigers lost to Boston tonight and to rookie Mike Garman. Garman getting his first win this year. Boston 3 runs, 6 hits, and 2 errors. Detroit 2 runs, 5 hits, and 1 error. The Red Sox scored all 3 runs in the 8th inning, overcoming a Detroit 2-0 lead as the Tigers had scored their 2 runs in the 6th. Mike Garman, the winner, 1-0 with relief help and a save from Ken Tatum. The losing pitcher was Mickey Lodich, and his record is now 25-12 for Detroit. Milwaukee at Minnesota was rained out. Washington edged Cleveland by a 3-2 score. The Senators scored 3 runs on only 3 hits, committed 2 errors. Cleveland 2 runs, 9 hits, and no errors. The winning pitcher is Bill Gogolewski, 6-5. The loser, Vince Colbert, 6-6. Kansas City at California and Chicago at Oakland are later starts. The Chicago Cubs this afternoon defeated the New York Mets 4-1. For the Cubs, it was 4 runs, 8 hits, and 1 error. For the New York Mets, 1 run, 8 hits, and no errors. Bill Hands, the winning pitcher, 12-18. And Gary Gentry was the loser. His record is now 12-11. Philadelphia at Montreal at the end of 8 innings of play. Montreal 2 and Philadelphia nothing. Rick Wise for the Phillies and Bill Stoneman for the Expos. San Francisco has now built up a 3-1 lead over Houston. San Francisco 3, Houston 1 in the bottom half of the 8th inning. Juan Marichal is pitching for San Francisco. He's gone all the way. Richards started for Houston. Culver in the 1st, Griffin in the 4th, Gwynn in the 8th inning. Bobby Bonds hit his 32nd home run of the year to break a 1-1 deadlock in the 5th inning. The Giants added another run in the 7th. And the Dodgers were beaten by the Cincinnati Reds 4-1. Cincinnati 4 runs, 7 hits, and no errors. The Dodgers 1 run, 5 hits, and 1 error. The winning pitcher, Gary Nolan, and the loser, Bill Singer. Pittsburgh trying to clinch its divisional pennant. The magic number is 1, and the Pirates lead the St. Louis Cardinals 2-1 at the end of 7.5. Luke Walker pitching for Pittsburgh, and Bob Gibson for the St. Louis Cardinals. Pirates leading 2-1, Cardinals batting in the bottom half of the 8th. Down in Atlanta, San Diego defeated the Atlanta Braves 7-3. Acosta the winner, Jarvis the loser. Home runs in the ball game: number 5 for Clarence Gaston of San Diego, number 2 for Mason, and Nate Colbert hit his 26th for the San Diego Padres. Ralph Garr hit home run number 9 for the Atlanta Braves. So that's the way it has gone elsewhere. Again, here at Yankee Stadium, Baltimore scored 10 runs on 15 hits with no errors, while the Yankees had 1 run, 6 hits, and no errors. Jim Palmer all the way for the win. His record is now 19-9, and Stan Bonson, the loser, 14-11. And that Oriole jinx is still with Stan Bonson. He's had 9 decisions against the Orioles in his Major League career and has yet to win a ball game. For Palmer, his 11th win against the Yankees. He has lost to them only twice. And now the Yankees have wound up the 1971 home season here at Yankee Stadium and will be moving on to Detroit over the weekend for a game Friday night. We'll be on the air at 8:55 with the ball game, at 8:40 with the pregame show. Then on Saturday afternoon and Sunday afternoon, to wind up the weekend in Detroit, the Yankees come home to spend an off day Monday here in New York and then go down to Washington for the final 3 games of the season, 3-night games against the Washington Senators, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday nights of next week. The pitchers in Washington: Mel Stottlemyre against Joe Coleman on Friday night. Stottlemyre is 15-11, and Coleman is 18-9. Then Ralph Houck will start Mike Kekich, who has won 10 and lost 8, on Saturday afternoon. Billy Martin is still undecided about his pitcher for Saturday. On Sunday, the Yankees will go with Fritz Peterson, who has won 14 and lost 13, and Mickey Lolich, who has won 25 and lost 11, will be pitching for the Detroit Tigers. Mickey Lolich, who has now won 25 and lost 12, as he was the losing pitcher in that ball game tonight against the Boston Red Sox. Again, the Orioles with their win tonight and Boston's 3-2 defeat of the Detroit Tigers. The magic number for Baltimore is down to 1. Any combination of a Baltimore win or a Detroit loss will clinch the Eastern Divisional pennant for the Baltimore Orioles and send them up against the Oakland A's in the American League Championship Series. This has been the Yankee Wrap-Up. I'm Frank Messer, and you're tuned to WMCA Radio, 570 on your dial in New York City.
Yankees, let's get behind the cheer. Yankees.
This is Dialogue Radio 57, WMCA, New York.